Let's please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have a few items on tonight's agenda, which will probably be revising a little bit. Before I forget, Selectman Visa will be coming a little late. We were going to have a discussion on the Wachusett fire engine, which I think we're going to revise that. We have a presentation for the Heart Safe Community, which was scheduled for 6:30. The fire department budget review at 7. Emergency management at 8, and then other business. I think we're going to have to wait till, I'm going to assume the budget, the FAC probably won't be showing up till 7 anyhow.
Most likely.
Yeah, okay. A couple of items under new business that I had down, I just wanted to find out where we are. One we'll have to wait till John's here. Actually, 2, police mailer. Scott, was it this past week you were meeting with the aide from Congresswoman Custer's office?
He had to postpone
Okay.
until this Thursday.
Okay. And then the other thing I had on here is, if, I know you've had your hands full, but had a chance to look at the RFP for the street lighting.
Have that.
Okay.
Yeah.
There are items I had on here, but we'll have to wait till John comes. One is to give you an update on the conversation with town council on the cemetery issue, and we'll schedule a meeting to meet with just the board and town council so that we can all get on the same page.
Okay.
And when I say the board, that's with you.
Okay.
The other one is to make sure we have the trustees, the cemetery trustees, at that meeting when we schedule it. The Old Town Hall, we need to look at getting a meeting with the abutter so that we can work out septic and water issues there.
Yep.
And parking.
Did you see that estimate from the architect to evaluate both of those, both that and I think the Old Town Garage?
I was gonna ask Scott later because it was in last week's folder and I didn't get to read it.
Yeah.
And it's not there now, so I know it's in a file somewhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was a significant chunk of change.
Yeah, I can.
I think it was $11,000 or $12,000 to
And we already have an evaluation from.
10 years ago.
Yeah, I don't think the building's changed much.
No.
So, can we move the Heart Safe Community presentation up?
Yeah,
That would be good.
yeah, the state is here, so.
John's not, but.
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm Bill Wood. I'm the Preparedness and Special Projects Coordinator with the Fire and EMS Academy in Concord. One of the projects that we've been involved with over the last 16 years is promoting getting AEDs, defibrillators, out into public places. Currently in New Hampshire, our EMS system, we're averaging 200 adult cardiac arrests a month in New Hampshire. It's an adult epidemic, and there's really been a real effort to make a difference. When somebody's having a cardiac arrest or has a cardiac arrest, basically what they need is a portable defibrillator to jumpstart the heart. One of the things, by the way, Nancy Vaughn from the American Heart Association is my compatriot tonight. We've had a cooperative relationship for a number of years on this project, and certainly the American Heart Association is intimately involved in promoting
Oh, yes.
the chain of survival. And Nancy's the government relations representative for the AHA. Anything more?
Well, yeah, I just want to add for the American Heart Association, this project has been very important to us because, as you know, saving lives from cardiac arrest and stroke and other heart diseases is what we're all about. So we've developed guidelines on CPR, guidelines on the use of AEDs. We refresh these guidelines periodically. We had great success with healthcare providers, getting all the healthcare providers trained in CPR, but really difficult to get lay people trained in CPR, and that's really kind of the impetus of Heart Safe Communities, is getting more people who will be there when something happens that know and are willing to do CPR. So that's what Heart Safe Communities means to us, and without all of you doing this work, we wouldn't be able to do our jobs either. So.
I would note that New Ipswich is the 39th community to get Heart Safe designation, and there's a lot of work involved thanks to public safety, AEDs and police cruisers, the work fire and EMS does. And in New Ipswich, you've got, you sent me the list the other day, approximately how many AEDs in town? 20 plus. Yeah, that sounds right from the list. So it's great that we're able to come down and make this presentation. We're very pleased. I would note this also is a cooperative effort between the Department of Safety, the Fire and EMS Academy, New Hampshire Department of Public Health Services, and the AHA. It's been a great partnership. I've got a couple of items that we're going to leave for you with you folks. First of all, I just want to read this quickly, letter of commendation from the Academy, and then Nancy's got a second certificate. It's dated today's date and is addressed to Chief Lund, but really to the town of New Ipswich. Congratulations to the New Ipswich Fire Department and the community of New Ipswich on attaining New Hampshire Heart Safe Community status. This is an exciting opportunity for local organizations to positively impact citizens and visitors in New Hampshire. The primary goal of the Heart Safe Communities program is to increase survival rates from out-of-hospital sudden cardiac arrests. The New Ipswich Fire Department, the town of New Ipswich, also efforts with the police department, is instrumental to ensuring the chain of survival through community CPR programs, access to public AEDs, and the availability of advanced cardiac life support. Thank you for the community's ongoing efforts in this life-saving measure, and it's signed Deborah Pendergast, the Director of Fire Station Training and EMS. The director was going to be here tonight, but her father had a medical emergency yesterday afternoon, and she can't make it tonight, but extends her sincere congratulations, particularly with Meredith, a former employee of our Mary Band. So it really means a lot to you folks to get the designation.
And we will also be leaving behind a certificate which you can even frame and put in your town hall or anywhere else that you would like to have it. But I'll just read it to you. So the top is New Hampshire Heart Safe, and it says, in recognition of town of New Ipswich for their efforts to improve survival from sudden cardiac arrest and for meeting the criteria to be designated a New Hampshire Heart Safe community, presented this 29th day of October in the year 2019, and it's also signed by Deborah Pendergast at the Department of Safety, and also Lisa Morris, the Director of the New Hampshire Department of Health and Human Services Division of Public Health Services. So again, really official, and congratulations.
Also, Also, we're in the process of wording some more, but you will get a ceremonial sign that we provide each community as far as recognizing your Heart Safe community status. We also are going to make available, or have available, towns can also get smaller street signs if they want. A lot of communities are putting them at their major roads coming into town. So if this is, you'll be getting one of these as soon as the new order comes in, but pretty impressive sign. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We'll leave both of these with the chief.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you
If I
for
could
coming
just
by.
say something real quick. I just want to recognize a couple of people that were instrumental in getting this done. One is Cam Stacy, who was a firefighter for us, and the other is Wendy Ledger, who was instrumental in that. when she was still our administrative assistant, she was, helped him get all the information together, and then both Daryl and Wendy from the ambulance, who are our transporting agency for people that have cardiac emergencies, so thank you to all of you as well.
Just one quick thing, one other thing I want to mention, with public AEDs out in there, we have over 4,000 registered in New Hampshire, but in our EMS system, as part of our record keeping, if an AED is used by the public on a heart attack patient, they are averaging 2 shocks being delivered prior to the arrival of local EMS or public safety or whatever, so time is truly tissue, so it's win-win for everybody, so.
So do you advocate them in the residences?
As a matter of fact, no, as a matter of fact, I'm finding, and on the contact, we've gone out to state bid to get prices down. They're at a 50% discount on the different devices they've got. Actually, more and more people, particularly if there's a family member with a cardiac condition, like the Philips unit out here, you know, $600 for a $1,300 AED. But I'm probably getting a call every other month or so from somebody that is interested in getting one for their
Yeah.
home, typically because of a medical condition.
I had a coworker who used to live on a lake here in New Ipswich, and he had a heart issue, and he bought an AED and got trained
Yeah.
so he could share it with everyone on the lake, because it takes a while to get out to the
Yeah.
lake.
Yes.
So, yeah, so, yes, in that case. But there has to be someone trained and ready to use it. It's not self-use yet.
I was wondering why your head started to shake. No, but I understand.
But we appreciate the questions,
Yeah.
and again, congratulations.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you. Thank you for coming down.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You want to say?
Yes, I am.
Congratulations. Thank you.
While you're here, John, the Wachusett discussion we're gonna put up.
Table.
Yeah. A couple of things I had down here. I said, oh, we'll wait till John comes. One is,
Thank you.
after I sent the email to Bart, that I think I copied you guys on,
Mhm.
so I did get the call on Monday morning. We had a good chat, but I still told him I think it's be good if we meet with him without the state, just because I still don't think at times he's on the same page with us.
Yes.
So I said after I spoke to you gentlemen, we'd set up a day and time that would work.
Yeah.
Pretty open, so.
John,
On what day?
day and time.
Let's see. We're looking at November.
Did he give any?
Wow, look at all those
He
dots.
just said no.
Look, that's a lot of dots in
That's just sent
November.
to find what day it is. He preferred not in the evening, but I said, well, we work. And I know Wednesdays for him or evenings wasn't gonna work, so
Okay,
if we could make it later in the afternoon.
that's fine.
Hmm.
4 o'clock is fine.
What day were you looking at, David?
Do we want to try maybe Thursday this week, perhaps, or is that too soon? No,
That's trick or treat.
Yeah.
I gotta get out. Uh,
next week, Monday. Tuesday, just before our
Now, I
regular.
keep seeing this even on my calendar at work. It says election day. We have no elections.
We
here.
don't have it. No, we
I don't know
don't.
why this keeps popping up.
I know this. If it didn't happen, or Manchester's voting for their mayor coming up, and there's some other stuff.
Oh,
It's
okay.
happening at different. It's one of those regional things or city things, but we don't have one now.
Do you think we could do it or Tuesday at 4?
That's fine. I'm good.
Tuesday the 5th at 4. I'd be fine
Yeah.
with
Yep.
Okay, I'll try this. And Scott, can you?
Reach out to the trustees.
Yeah.
Just confirm by email.
Yep.
Would you want to meet here or at his office? I don't even know where is his office in Concord?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know where his office
Yeah,
was.
we don't wanna run that Concord with a herd.
Okay. The other topic of discussion was the Old Town Hall. I didn't know if you were able to reach out yet to the abutter, to see if we can set up a meeting with them on what it would take to secure an easement us.
I've mentioned it to him, but since we were waiting on different stuff, I had not set like a,
No, but I mean.
I mean, he's willing to, obviously he's willing to sit and talk,
I think we had the sill fixed.
Sewer is the next step.
Yeah, sewer, water, interior. The water, I think once we can get the sewer, if we can get something arranged there, then we could try and meet with the manor.
Yeah. I mean, I've been checking into grants, and grant money is available, but only for buildings that are effectively usable by the public.
Mm-hmm.
So if water and sewer is available, then the grant money then becomes available. If we have no water or sewer, grant money is gonna pass us by.
That's what the Heritage Commission had found as well, that there were really no grants that they could apply for because the building technically is not usable for what we want to use it for, even if it was fixed up, until there's nothing else there.
Well, there was just two grants that were available yesterday. And one of them, we weren't because we're not in the right county.
I saw that.
But there was another part of that.
Is that the preservation alliance?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
The one for the upper country, we didn't qualify, but I thought there was another one.
Well, we can certainly reach out to them and see what's
Yeah.
there.
That's a source that I don't know that.
Yeah,
Heritage Commission
yeah,
looks
we've already reached out to them, and Fran's actually attending one of their workshops on grant writing. I think sometime in November, early November.
by New Hampshire Preservation, or is it the
New Hampshire,
Strategic Initiative?
no, the New Hampshire Preservation Alliance is the one she's going to.
Okay.
How soon do you want to meet with the abutter?
It's nothing imminent that we have to do right away, but I mean, if we can,
Yeah,
you've been in contact with
Yeah,
them. If
I
you
mean,
can
it's
find out a date that would be workable for them.
Well, I didn't know if you wanted, like, during budget season or when budget season's over.
well,
During budget season.
yeah, let's get it done.
If we've got a budget stuff, now's the
Yeah,
time
I
to-
mean,
yeah,
if we
I
gotta
don't wanna
throw a
miss
line item
an
out,
opportunity.
sooner is better. We've been talking about it for several months.
I'll send him a message.
Okay. Did you get any feedback from Tim on that mailer? Did you see that?
I don't know that he's taken a look at it yet.
Could you follow up with him on that?
Sure, I'll talk to him tomorrow morning
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah. Okay. You gentlemen have anything new?
The only other thing I have, and I think Scott's taking care of this, is we're still meeting with Mr. Parisi on the cell tower Vertex on the 6th of November, and if there are any conditions that we want to include, because I think John is going to be pushing hard for a vote.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
No?
He's not?
He reached out to me as well because he read, he got your message, your email. I know he reached out to me and he said he'd reach out to Dave as well, just to make sure that that not that he was questioning your stance, but just making sure that we as a board were in agreement with what your email had said, wording wise. And we said, no, it's completely right. We're not going to take that bargaining chip off the table. So we would appreciate completely that you hold off the vote until we can make sure that we're good.
Okay.
And he said he was waiting to, after he spoke with me, he said he was waiting to hear back from David. So
Okay, that's fine.
Ditto. Uh, Did you meet, or was it scheduled to be met with the communications
Tomorrow afternoon.
tomorrow? Okay, okay.
Yeah, that's why Tim and I went to look at the site today, just so I could get my bearings on what we're talking about. We're meeting with him tomorrow at 1.
Do you have anything else, Bert?
That's it?
John?
no, I don't believe I had anything.
The first budget's not till 7.
Okay.
You have anything else, Scott?
Let's
Otherwise, I'm gonna start updating my budget sheets. Do you have the printouts?
I
Mine.
If you need a bigger one than that, there's one in the office I can get.
I could split this.
Oh, Scott also told us that emergency management director's resigning, or resigning.
Yeah.
Well, that was quick.
I assume it's a formal
So,
resignation.
That's Meredith's PowerPoint, and that's the
Can
sheet
we,
out of the system.
can we authorize
You printed yours,
Scott to put an item on the website that we're looking for an emergency management director?
Did he give a reason?
He doesn't feel he's able to put the time into it that the position requires. He is coming to our staff meeting tomorrow. We did want to have a discussion with me, Meredith and Tim. He is willing to continue in that role for a period of time so that we might be able to find a replacement. But I'll try to get those details in the staff meeting tomorrow for
Okay.
where we're going.
Scott, have you been able to confirm what the FICA and the Medi rates are? Cause I went back to the budgets we did last week and I was still using what I had in,
Yeah, I'll confirm
From
that
last
with
year.
Roger. Yeah.
okay. I'm not aware that anything's changed, but if it has,
What's up, Gordon?
Nothing, what are you?
Doing good.
Well, the other thing that, we need to take into consideration is there are 53 pay periods next calendar year as opposed to 52.
It's gonna be nice when everyone works a week for free.
How does that happen?
So, I have to take a
Oh.
look at.
It's because that first Thursday is
After
the second.
Shift's over, so that will be coming first, right? See, the 31st, the first will be on a Wednesday, so that pushes that way, and the 31st will be on a Wednesday, we pay on Wednesdays, so
So,
pay on Thursdays.
so,
Then you send it over and the next person answers.
Yeah.
I don't think it should affect it. I don't know that I would go through changing everything to add a week instead, because we don't get the funding until March anyhow. So what impact would it have?
so, well, other than the way we have to account for it, I'll double check with Roger what the implication is there.
Because if we pay it on Wednesday, it's for the prior week's work.
Right.
So if we were paying on the 1st of January in 2020,
It's actually budgeted.
in December,
Yeah, he writes the checks. Yeah, checks are technically paid. Yeah, it's
but it's for work.
right. It's for encumbered money from 2019. Yeah.
I'll double check with him on the cash flow on that one,
Okay.
just to see if it's gonna hit. And is 2020 a leap year?
I don't know, but speaking of cash flow, the treasurer used to give us,
It is.
is it, reports on cash flow.
Okay.
Could you pen to use so you can, so it's magnetized, supposed to stay there.
Mm-hmm.
The other night, I'm working and the thing keeps falling off. Finally, it's like 11 o'clock, I go to close it, I'm like, what is the, I am looking high and low, and I'm like, I know I haven't left this room. I checked that carpet, I checked the chairs. Recliner last night, I told my wife, did you find that? No. And her and I are searching all around. I says, wait a minute. Okay. First of all, it's got a search, like you're supposed to be able to find it.
Mhm.
It says, yeah, you're within 500 feet of Fade's Barber Shop. I'm like, what do you do?
Yeah.
He says, hey, man, this thing's magnetized. I wonder if it got stuck on one of the contraptions in the bottom of the
Yeah.
appliance.
Yeah.
Sure enough. I says, need to get a chain.
Yeah. Yeah, I have one, and the end of it actually plugs into the headphone jack.
Oh.
So it's just
So, yeah, so it'd stay there.
so it stays. So if it,
Yeah.
yeah, so it just hangs off the thing, but it's just a plastic little nib or whatever that fits inside
Something
the
you
headphone
had
jack.
to buy and add to it, or they come with
It came with it, but
I gotta find something, cause I'm not good at
that's my same thing. They bought a pen, like just a regular pen, and when it's got the little rubber piece on one end, and then it's got a little stylus on the other end, and then when you clip the pen, a pen tip actually comes out, so you can just carry one
Oh,
pen with
yeah,
you and use it, right? So he's talking, whatever, goes to talk to, clicks the thing and goes across, and actually, because it's actually like a really fine webbing that's on the screen that he cut the thing in one spot, so now one piece of it doesn't work. He was so angry. Like, man, I told you to get the other one. Because I knew that's what I would do. I was not
Yeah.
paying attention and go to do something on the screen, mess it up.
Dark visibility.
What's in here, she doesn't have the right number. Cause this is what caught me earlier.
Well,
Was-
no, 122,654.
That's correct.
Okay.
11.5, not 10.3.
But that's what she budgeted.
No,
Right, that's what she budgeted, but then we increased it. So I understand what she's saying, but like she put this number somewhere, she just, but this budget,
no, this is
Ours.
cost to date.
no,
It's cost
yeah,
to
but I'm
date.
saying is this is,
This year's 2019 budget.
So
that
some-
number
yeah.
needs to be 11, because what threw me
Right,
off.
but what I'm saying is, it actually adds to the right number. She just
Yes.
copied it, but she just didn't add something right.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because this is what level funded. And I'm
Mhm.
like, well, wait a minute, this one was,
Yeah. So I think she copied
yeah,
it's not, I don't think that's an Excel sheet. I think it's just a tab or something she made. But I noticed that the number was
the bottom
equal,
line.
the bottom
is- yeah.
number equaled up. Yeah, I noticed that too, but.
Oh, one question did come up today. And that was the tanks, the propane tanks that are buried for the highway department. Do we own those tanks?
I didn't know we had any buried tanks here.
We do.
Really?
So
Where?
Mark Hopkins says we have two buried propane tanks at the DPW garage.
What do
Yeah.
they feed?
So I'm not sure.
I think you gotta have that conversation with Peter.
So, and the reason they came out is because he got quotes on propane from Suburban Propane, and they're significantly less than Hafner's.
I don't believe anybody will bury their tanks.
Actually, that's a pretty common practice. So,
I thought, see, because we have one buried at the church, and in order for it to be buried, it technically had to be ours. So we got it I think by donation, but I thought you had to purchase it from them. Now it may be there, like it may say, if you dug it up, it may say somebody's name on it, but I was under the impression that you had to, for it to be buried on property, you had to purchase the tank from them.
so I just went through this and.
Did you? Okay.
And that's why I can bring it up is we were trying to go out to bid on fuels.
Mhm.
And then, of course, on propane, we had propane in several different facilities, all with different vendors. And when we got to the fire department, which was recently renovated, maybe 6 years ago or so, they put in a new generator, and at the time, upgraded the heating system because they doubled the size of the building and then some. And they buried the tanks. However, the town of Wilton did not own the tanks. The provider did. And when we asked about having another vendor perhaps fill those tanks, it was sure, but first you have to buy them from us. And they
Mhm.
wanted some outrageous amount of money to buy them.
Right.
To buy them out. And then the other vendor coming in,
Wouldn't use them.
well, they would, but you have to go through a certification process to certify the tanks
Mhm.
and make sure they're safe before they would fill them.
Yeah. A lot of times they even want to test the lines.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there is a cost to doing that. So the question, the above ground tanks are easy, you can swap those out, just drain them down as much as you can.
Yeah.
A new vendor comes in, disconnects them, puts their tanks in, then you call the old vendor and they come and pick up their tanks. But with the underground tanks, that's a different
Right.
story. If we own them outright, then we have the flexibility of using a different vendor. But if we don't own them, then that probably takes that off the table. I mean, typically.
I'd like to know what it is that,
Yeah,
because the, Green Center and the highway garage are off oil, or the garage has the waste oil.
yeah,
And we're not doing building 2, this building's off oil. The only propane that I'm aware of that we have, it's for the shed at the transfer station and for the generator.
and fire department. Mark told me the fire department is propane as well.
Yeah, it's part of the budget.
It's gotta be for the modulars, not for the building as a
Yeah, I think
gas
that,
fired,
yeah, 'cause the modular, I
oil
think,
fired
yeah.
boiler.
yeah, I think
the
their
modular.
modular is propane,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So. And, that,
but where is this tank that he's referencing?
I don't know.
He didn't say
He said it
where?
was.
At the highway?
Back here, so I will, have to query him
Yeah.
to find out what it's used for. Okay, to give you an idea, the difference in price is, right now, the spot price at Suburban is $1.49.5 a gallon versus $2.24.9 from Hafner's.
Did he, cause who do we currently have it through? Is it Hafner's? Okay.
Hafner's is
Okay.
represented.
Coming up $2 difference than this. Does BMSI round, maybe?
It may.
Okay. I'm just using the whole dollar values on here, whereas that may have something in there that's rounding.
It may be FICA and Medicare, because if it's a percentage, it's gonna round to the dollar.
No, I'm wondering if they are showing the whole number, but in the cell.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm thinking even if it's, yeah, oh, I see what you're mean, okay.
I keep checking these here and they. Do we have the emergency management budget?
We do.
That was the other piece for the fire one.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Evening.
Is that PowerPoint?
Yeah, I've got a hard copy of it right here.
Excellent, thanks. I thought it was too cheap for my PowerPoint, I had everything else but PowerPoint.
I have copies too.
Thank you. I was able to make a few of those.
Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening. Trick or treat.
Oh,
Are
we're
we
way
gonna
too
start
early
that?
for that.
We're still gonna have trick or treating?
Thursday night.
Gonna have like 35 and 40 mile an hour gusts of wind.
Hang on to your kids.
Yeah.
Keep the kids off the street.
But it's gonna be 69 degrees.
It's gonna be warm midnight.
He gave me 3 dates that we could, that he was willing to meet to speak on the easement. 12th, 26th, and 10th.
November.
Yep, November 12th or 26th. I won't be here the 26th.
12th, 26th, and what was the other date?
Or 12/10, December 10th.
Trying to do them all on a Tuesday.
What's that?
Didn't have to be on a Tuesday.
Well, I figured part of the meeting. Come.
It's a non-public, real estate transactions.
Yeah.
Yeah, that probably is.
That's it. I won't be here the 26th, so.
Before Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving's when, the
28th, yeah.
28th, so before. 12th?
That's fine.
You catch that, Scott? We'll do the November 12th.
November 12th.
How you doing? Just dandy.
Good evening.
Good evening.
That's not a heavy night budget-wise.
When's the first budget review?
6:30.
So we want to do this at 6?
I think we have to do it non-public,
Yeah.
because it's a real estate, so we do it after the budget, or?
And we can start, Lisa, we can start with non-public and then come out.
Sure,
Yeah.
that's good.
I'll ask him right now.
Do you have copies, or was I supposed to have print copies?
That's,
Thank you, sir.
that's fire,
I did read them.
and that's emergency management.
Thank you. Can I have the holy punch? The holy punch. Thank you.
Gentleman's name.
Doug
Last name.
Archambault. A-C-H. I'm sorry, A-R-C-H. C-H-A-N-B-A-U-L. You know, from Cajun country, first time I tried to cram another E in there on it, he goes, nope. I said, no, you're just not that French. What's that?
Yep, so this is emergency management. That's fire, and that's fire.
Last year, we had the previous year's budget, the current budget, and the proposed budget on the sheets. I have a copy of last year's.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a lot.
No.
Yeah, we did it.
Yeah, you're looking for the proposed versus,
This was last year's. It had 2017,
Okay, if it was last year, we have the
2017, 2018, which was the current, and 2019.
4 columns, 1, 2, 3.
We should have 2018s, is what I'm saying. Because it tells you whether something changed from 18 to 19. Therefore, if they're back asking for it to change again, but you can't tell
You
if you only show current.
You didn't save your sheets, Mike?
I did, that is my sheet.
See? So you're all set.
You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, because on my sheets in here,
You have everything.
I have it. And that's why I'm like, well, why don't they match up? Yeah,
Well, Jack was,
because, but wait a minute, this would have been,
that's the sheet we worked on last year.
but even this sheet wouldn't have been correct, because the ones that we should have had last year, should have the columns where they had the, department head, and then it was selectmen and the budget committees.
Oh, that's the spreadsheet.
Yeah.
These are
That
the
wasn't
sheets
the
we
BMSI
handed
sheet.
out
Okay.
Yeah.
every
No,
meeting.
I know what you're saying,
talking
Dave,
about
and
the
you're right, we would
Excel
normally have another
spreadsheet.
column that said what we proposed.
Yeah.
They would have one that would be the same, but it would say budget committee on top, on theirs. And then we would get this one, you know, like
Yeah.
what was actually, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think we had the same problem with Carlotta as we kept asking, you need to, so, yeah. Yes, we're all set for 6 PM on the 12th.
Okay.
I was just complaining.
I have more copies, Scott, if you need them.
Okay.
Because last year we were supposed to bring copies, so I did.
It's too bad you can't get through the whole punch. I don't think that.
Okay, we have everyone here. The first budget we'll tackle is fire. I guess my first question is, do you have any backup for any of this?
Did you get the handout?
I did.
So that is my, I'm not quite sure what kind of backup you're looking for. This is what I've given you every year, so.
And I think every year I have a note on here, I wish we had backup. In other words,
Read your notes.
You do equipment repair and maintenance, 6,050, and you list a bunch of items down.
Yep,
Is ladder testing $5,000 and everything else is 1,050, or no? Vehicle maintenance, general supplies,
I can give you all of the breakdowns on those.
what would just be informative to know how the budget got created. That's why when we start the year off, the memo goes out, it's zero-based budgeting, provide the backup. This is an explanation of what it is, but the numbers aren't there to show how the numbers got arrived at. That's all I'm asking.
I have it in my notes.
Thought that's
Would
why
you
I
share?
was- thought that's why I was
Sure,
here.
ladder testing is $250.
Yeah, well, why don't you write them all down?
Are we gonna start
They
at
were there
in
last
the
year.
middle, or?
You had them last.
And the reason I left them out this year was because I'm trying to give you the idea of why we're putting those things into the specific line items, but the dollar amounts change up and down, so I figured any dollar amounts you would need, I could give you. So we did base it all on dollar amounts, and I do have those for any of those ones that you want specifically. So I do have it all broken down, it's just not in your copy. And I can get you this copy that has all of them in there.
That'd be good.
Just trying to be more efficient this year. Less efficient, apparently. Okay?
So just my question is, so on the hose testing, we lowered a little bit, so
year hose testing goes down.
So,
Hose testing goes down from,
Just because I can't find it real quick, where is
are we
hose
gonna do
testing?
this in order?
It's-
Just all
Yeah,
of
let's
it?
try and do
Okay.
it in
all
order.
right.
Everybody's gonna be
Well,
flipping
the other
pages
stuff,
all
the other
over
stuff,
the place.
that's the first one that changed anyway, so,
David admonished me last meeting for doing that.
yeah. It's,
So if we start on the very first page.
That would be nice, thank you.
Start on the very first page, that's the type, no. My
we were going to the
copies-
first one with an increase, that's all that really matters.
My
No.
copies show that I was being fiscally responsible, so all of the orange ones on the copies that I made that you don't need show where we stayed even or went below last year's budget.
Just a point of order on that.
Yeah.
Your number on the left has to change to 11.5 for the
Yep,
stipend.
that was the
Okay.
number I got from Roger, and I did change it in my copy, but not in, and that,
Ah,
if you add it,
yeah.
if you change it to 11.5, it does total the bottom number.
We checked that.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
too. So, yeah, I did change that and circle it on these copies.
And I was questioning how it stayed level when
Yeah.
one
Yeah,
went
well, that
over
was-
I
the other.
said the same thing, that's
That
what
was
caught my
very-
eye, I'm
I have
like,
it
wait a minute.
too.
Yeah.
Got you. So all those remain the same, we have no budget, so anyway, the first page is our budget comparison, and I highlighted and went down to everything that stayed the same, or went below budget, and then the few places where we've increased in budget are addressed on the following pages.
If no one has questions on the first two,
I do. Of the
go
fir-
ahead,
I do as
right
well.
ahead, go.
Just looking at this year's budget, $44,000. You spent less than half of that 3/4 of the way through the year. Is there a reason for that?
Yep, they
Good
get
thing.
paid twice a year, so the next stipend comes out in November, so
Fine.
it's,
That explains it.
and that will use up the other half.
That was my question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And the chief's stipend is paid quarterly.
Yep, and there's 1/4 left on that. Education and training, we decreased. We don't have anybody that's due to go to firefighter 1 this coming year because everybody at this point is certified. We have 3 that need to do firefighter 2. So that totals $2,750 for 3 firefighters to do that. Our annual CPR training, which is $75, and the CPR supplies that we need in order to do that training, so that decreases that from $3,725 to $3,025, so it's by $700.
No, it decreases it to $15, and that's my question. Cause you decreased 3,025, your spreadsheet is showing training at $15. Your line item 240,
That's actually.
That's actual.
oh,
I mean, this-
okay, so you've
I-
got
I'm
the
not sure where you
3,000,
are.
no,
Why have we only spent $15 this year on training?
Our training, we've got a bid out right now to put a training on with an instructor that's coming in. It's gonna be approximately $1,000. We waited and we haven't spent any of that money because we were hoping that the state would have the classes that we needed this year, and they did not put them on.
Your
So-
intention is to spend the budget this year?
Yes, we've got a training that's coming up at Messina High School on November 9th that we'll spend some of that money on. And then we've got a guest speaker coming in to train the entire department, as opposed to just the individual training that's going on.
And that'll consume the remainder of it?
And then our CPR training, which is due in November, and then once we use those supplies, we'll be resupplying on the batteries and miscellaneous supplies for the CPR stuff. So
But
that
aren't you-
budget,
aren't you-
that budget will be spent, or I can give you one that's.
So you haven't done the CPR training, you will do that this year, you will consume the consumables for that training,
Correct.
and this
And
year's
then-
budget will pay to replace those consumables?
This year's budget will pay to replace the CPR things that we use in November, yes.
Okay, and so this CPR training consumables is for next year's training, you'll do the same thing, you'll have the
Yes, the
training.
money that's left
Okay.
in the budget for this year for training will pay for those, and then the
Okay.
ones that I have in next year's budget will pay for next year,
Got it,
yes.
got it, just wanted to get. a
Those are
separate-
masks and wipes and things like
Sure.
that for the CPR napkins, batteries, little lights that come on when they do the compressions, things like
Got
that.
it. Okay, thank you.
Health and fitness remains the same. We're doing our annual mask fit testing, which is required under the standard in order to make sure that they have a complete seal. The state comes out and does that at $20 a person, and it's averaged at $250 every year. And then we leave $50 in, and right now we have $10 left in there. We leave $50 in there for anybody that's going to classes that has to have a physical in order to participate in those classes. And we pay, if they have a copay on there, rather than paying for a complete physical, we just pay the copay for them because they're required to have the physical in order to go to training. So we left that level funded because that has met our needs at $300.
Mask fit testing that takes place every year for
Yes.
everybody?
Yep.
Even
Yep.
if the masks don't change?
Even if the masks don't change, if they gain weight, lose weight, the seals,
It's not the masks, Mark, it's the face.
Well, if they kept up on health and fitness, then
getting there. But the masks also, as the rubber seal around them gets older, and this can determine if that seal is broken and needs to be replaced, things like that. And we get an actual computer printout from the state when they come out and do that, and we keep it in a file so that if there were any issues with firefighters, we have that documentation.
Who pays for insurance? Is that part of our general insurance policy?
Yeah.
Yeah. 430 is where you see the first increase, and we're going from,
I'm stupid, what does SCBA stand for?
self-contained breathing apparatus, which is our air packs and our masks.
I would have known you if it was you in there.
Scuba, yeah, it's like scuba, only with no you. So this is where you see all of our testing. The main increase is coming because we had allocated in last year's budget for SCBA maintenance and repair $300. This year we spent $2,245 on just repairing and maintaining our SCBA's. And we are coming to the end life of our breathing apparatus. We've got our bottles, I think we've had them for 15 years now. We just hydro tested our bottles for the last time, and they're good for 5 years. So we've got about 2.5 years left on our bottles before they have to be replaced. And our air packs are 2 standards out from the standard that they were created. There have now been 2 additional standards in the NFPA standard that have surpassed what we have. So right now, we had a lot of problems this year with batteries, with the air supply exchanges as they went through the regulators, button resets on regulators, things like that that are just wearing out because they're old. What this says to me is that we have a major concern that we need to deal with, but until I'm going to go for an AFG grant this year, hoping that we can replace all those air packs, because what's going to happen is next year, if we have repairs that need to be done on SCBA's, they will do them, but when we get to that 15-year mark, they will no longer even repair them for us because they're out of the standard. They're 2 standards old. But until then, that's what we have, and we need to get them replaced. We just sent another one out this year, or this week with, it has a pass device, and the pass device is what alerts us to if there's a problem. When a firefighter starts moving, the pass device starts to vibrate to let people know where they are, and then it makes that squealing noise so that we can find them. There was a problem with that, and that went out for repair, so I don't know what the cost will be on that.
If you don't mind, if you could just go down real quick on each one and just give me what you
Ladder
have.
testing is $250.
Okay,
Extinguisher check is $210. I
okay.
am working with Mark Hopkins on that, because apparently we're using 2 different companies to come out and do that extinguisher testing.
Is that just for the firehouse extinguishers?
That's the firehouse and all of the ones that are on our trucks.
On your truck?
Yeah. Actually, this is only for the ones that are on the trucks.
Do you put that out to bid?
I never have, no. I didn't know that we needed to, but
We should be.
in talking with Mark, he happened to be there the day the guy came to do ours, and he wondered why we weren't all using the same company, and I wasn't aware that we were using 2 different companies. So he and I are working on that.
Good.
SVA maintenance and repair, we've got at $3,000, that's kind of an unknown. Small engine maintenance, we've started a small engine maintenance program. We've done all of them now, and now we're gonna start into an every other year maintenance, and that's $1,500.
Well, wouldn't you be skipping this upcoming year?
We're gonna do half of them now, so we're gonna do half every year so that we can reduce the budget, so
So
we're not.
half is 15.
Yeah.
What is that?
We increased some of the, we had to increase a couple of the pieces of equipment that needed to fall into that, that's why that amount didn't change.
Okay, I was about to ask that.
How many engines are you talking about? 1,500 seems a lot for maintenance, if it's oil, filters.
But we're talking all of our chainsaws, all of our roof saws, our generators, our Hamato tools, we have 2 sets of those.
Gas-powered fans.
Our gas-powered fans, our boat engine, I'm trying to think what else is in there.
Well, you've
So anyway,
enumerated a fair number, that's reasonable, and again, but it's hard to get my head around, I probably got half that number of engines.
Right.
I'm trying to put my head around
Right.
$1,500 worth
Yeah.
of work on them, that's all. I mean, if you have to do cylinder work or.
And I'm hoping that as we get that stabilized and then get into a regular routine, that we'll be able to reduce that $1,500 next year, the following year. when
Is
I come
that done
back.
in-house, or does that,
We've been sending them
contracted?
out, cause it's cheaper for us to send them out than it is to do it in-house.
Excuse me.
And these engines don't require any certification in terms of performance or,
Correct.
okay.
We just, I can't pay my guys, so if I pay the guys, it's gonna be more than it is.
right, but
Just
if you
send them
recall
out.
how we set up the stipend situation, was those that went above and beyond got more of a stipend. This could be very well one of those items, but that's up to you.
But then I'd have to increase my stipend amount,
No, if
my
you,
stipend line item.
we won't go into that again. Every year we go over that.
I guess I'm asking how much you expect them to do on the little bit amount of money they make. So,
Well,
Those-
I'm hearing an inference that there is a surplus or a section of the fire salary stipend which is designed to provide for increased amount to individuals who go above and beyond. You're implying that you spend every dollar independent of that.
we do, because what happens, and what happens is, there are people that don't get their total amount of stipend because they don't do the total amount of work.
Right.
So then to compensate, because that still needs to be done, the people that go above and beyond get additional increase,
So-
and that's reflected on the bottom of their
In your
stipend.
mind, the 44,000 is 100% expended day one, it's just a question of to whom it goes to.
Correct,
There is no surplus budget in your mind for the 44,000.
correct.
You believe differently.
Yes, because the stipend is based on 3 criteria. It was supposed to be attendance at meetings, attendance at calls, and training.
Yeah.
So if somebody's not attending meetings or not attending a call, it's not like you're bringing in someone else to fill in that void. So you have that pool of money left over. And then at your discretion, when you have somebody that goes above and beyond doing something, you can use that pool of money to give it to them. But it's at your discretion, and that you have that pool of money at all times unless everybody starts.
But that's not a huge pool of money. That you may,
How many
that's,
volunteers do we have?
we have 28 right now. So that pool of money ends up being the pool of money, I think what happens when we have the leftover money and we divvy up what people have done, they come in Saturdays and they clean the station, because nobody cleans our station, we clean our own, we sweep it, we vacuum, we do it, so people come in and they do that, they empty the trash, all of that kind of stuff is extra stuff that doesn't get done, so that gets added on, and these guys, with the little bit amount of money that's left over, at the end of each half year, we're talking maybe $5 an hour, $3 an hour that these guys are getting for going above and beyond. All the work that's being done on the brush truck right now, everybody's donating their time. So it makes it sound like there's a huge pool of money because people aren't showing up. We're encouraging people to show up. the people that weren't showing up are pretty much gone now, for the most part. So there's not a huge gap between that 44,000 and what we actually would pay people.
How many calls do you do a year?
Right now we are at 2, do you remember off the top of your head for the last one? I don't remember either, 'cause we're right around 250.
That's fire and emergency?
That's, yes, fire department stuff,
Fire department,
Yeah.
so not ambulance?
not ambulance, the ambulance is separate.
Yep.
You could go as far as, like, we're down this year a little bit, but it's sometimes up right just under 300, but for the most part, it's right around 250.
Do you bid out the maintenance on the engines?
We have not been, no.
It seems to me at $1,500, it might be worth to see if you can get quotes on that.
Okay.
That would
This
help
is something
reduce-
that we just started last year with the intent of just like everything else, keeping it in good running order so that
Sure.
we didn't have things go wrong.
Yeah,
So we're still kind of trying to feel out what the right amount of money would be in that line.
yeah, the chainsaw's the pain in the neck.
Compressor maintenance testing?
$400, and then hose testing went down, to $16.90. And the reason it went down is because last year it was 33 cents a foot, because now we're at our second year, it's going to go down to 26 cents a foot.
And what was ladder testing again now?
250.
Is hose replacement part of account 430, or is hose replacement a different account?
Hose replacement would be new and replacement equipment later on.
Got it. Yeah, don't wanna jump there,
Yeah.
just serious.
We're getting there.
Okay.
Vehicle maintenance, we're down.
Meredith, can I just go back a second? I don't know if I'm missing something here, but my numbers are coming out. The numbers that you just gave to us was 250, 210, 3,000, 15, 400, and 1690, correct?
Yeah.
That's 1,000 more than what you,
You know why? Because I decreased the SCBA, after I gave you that, I decreased the SCBA maintenance and repair to 2,000.
2,000.
Sorry.
That's okay, we're only approving the top of it.
But it is 2,000, I'm sorry. I was trying to figure out ways to cut down. Vehicle maintenance, we went down. State inspections are still are gonna be $5,000. And again, we are shopping around for better prices because it seems like some of our vehicle maintenance and state inspections and services, oil changes, all that kind of stuff are more expensive than they need to be. So we've been in contact with a couple of different garages in the area to see if we can reduce that.
My question on the vehicle maintenance, Meredith, is
Yep.
shouldn't that have gone down proportionally with the number of vehicles we have, whereas we now have, we got rid of an older engine and we've got a brand new engine, but it only went down a few $100 proportionate?
If we go down the line items, I can let you know why.
Okay,
How many vehicles do we have before you do that?
We have 2 engines.
Should be 7 now. You had 6 last year.
Yeah, we have 2 engines, a tanker. Right now, we still have 2 tankers, but it's, the other one's up here. A rescue. Right now, we have 2 brush trucks, but one of them's going away.
So in the end, you're seeing.
And then, we have an ATV and a boat.
Okay, and the ATV and the boat are part of the vehicle, got it,
Yeah.
okay.
So, this year you had 14,400, you spent 4,200. Is there something coming up this year?
So we still have those numbers don't add up. I'm looking at it as well. We still
don't
have
have the numbers.
2, no, I'm looking at last year's, I'm looking at the spreadsheet that he gave me with last year's that you have.
Yeah,
We still have outstanding the bill for the there's 2 state inspections that haven't been billed yet.
it's roughly 10 grand yet to go.
Yeah, I'm that number that shows up as 54,000 still remaining doesn't add up with the work that we've done, so
54,000.
there's gotta be outstanding bills. I think we haven't gotten the bills, we just did the pump testing, so we
But I'm
haven't
looking at the
gotten-
one above that, Meredith, the 4256 versus 14420.
Right. Yeah.
I think you're down a line or two.
And you budgeted, we have, in the budget, you have 14,420. You've spent so far this year 42,56.
Yeah, is that number right, the 4256?
That's what I'm looking at, which
Right.
shows that I have a remaining balance of $54,000, or $5,400.
No, you
No.
have, no, you have a balance of about 10.2.
Yeah, if you've only spent $4,200 so far in change, and you had a 14,400 budget, you're in
This shows that, I'm looking at the printout that Roger just gave me day before yesterday.
Okay. Yeah, hers is more up to date than ours
And it shows
is.
the period
That's-
expenditures right now are $9,000.
Yeah, okay, so the
Okay,
problem is
so
that
that makes-
the one we got, it doesn't
Oh,
reflect
got it, okay.
that.
Yeah, I pulled this from him yesterday.
Can I
What's
see
the
your
fee?
sheet, please? What you pulled from him?
It's got writing on it.
That's
Want a copy
okay.
of it?
I just want to be able to see, because these numbers, I'm
When-
actually
when are
putting in
these?
here also.
Was this actually pulled October 7th?
Mm-hmm.
Why would we pull it so far back? Just curious.
And there's still other things in here like pump testing that we haven't received the bills for yet because we just did them. So I show that the only thing we have outstanding in the $14,000, I show that we still have the $300 shoreline outstanding, and everything else has been accounted for. So there's bills there even in yesterday's that haven't come through yet.
So, just looking back, my question is, so you have LED lighting improvements?
Yep.
Is that, so that's more, because last year we did scene lights, $2,600.
On engine 4, yep.
Okay, so you're buying more
Now,
for
this
another
year
one?
we're doing LED lights on Rescue 1 and Brush 1.
Is there a reason, can you refresh my memory why we're doing lights on a vehicle?
LED lights have a better visibility, and as the lights that we have on the trucks are starting to wear out, or the housings are starting to wear out, rather than just replacing them or upgrading them with
Bless you.
LED lights as
Thank
well. Bless you.
Rescue 1 and what was the other one?
Brush
Brush
one.
one.
Brush 1, thank you.
So R1 and B1 are Rescue 1 and Brush 1. Same with, we're looking to do the rescue lights for warning lights to LEDs as well.
Is that the ground lights?
The warning marker lights.
Yeah, but you have ground lights and then you have LED lighting
Oh,
improvements.
ground lights are like lights that actually sit on the ground to be able to work in a scene.
That's what I figured. And how much on those?
Ground lights are $250. Then LED lights for scene lighting is $37.50. Warning lights are $400. Our new engine that we got, engine 1, came with an onboard air compressor so that we don't have to plug the truck into an air system. We have done the rescue this year with that same system. So if you look in last year's, the outstanding that we still have, which is the air shoreline for Rescue 1, rather than putting in that air shoreline, we put in an onboard compressor into Rescue 1. And we're looking to do the same with Engine 4 and Tanker 1. And the reason for that is because when we broke down how much it was going to cost us to put the shoreline into Rescue 1, and this keeps the brake systems and everything up on the trucks, rather than putting that shoreline into Rescue 1 and then running all the lines to every bay where the trucks are that need air to be plugged in. In the long run, it's cheaper for us by the time you buy the reels, because the airlines are gonna have to be on a retractable reel so that the trucks behind them can get out. It's cheaper for us to actually put onboard compressors into the 4 vehicles. One already has it, second one's getting it right now, so we have 2 more for next year, and then we won't have to worry about air shorelines or anything anymore. The
Now, you,
compressors will
as a
work for us.
firefighter, you know what an air shoreline is.
So an air shoreline is a
Thank you.
connection, an air shoreline is a connection that plugs into the side of the truck that keeps the air up in the system. So the air brakes, the air horns, anything that runs on air, it keeps that system up. There's always gonna be a slow leak in it. Engine 1, when we bought engine 1, came with an onboard compressor that runs automatically. So when the air pressure drops on the brake system or on the audible system or anything, that air compressor comes on and pumps that air system back
So
up.
you're saying your brakes need to be charged from an external source on some of these vehicles? Then?
Well,
Am I missing something?
yes, because they have to be able to roll right away.
Yeah,
So if you have an air system, you start the truck, you can't roll that truck until the air system's up so you can use the brakes.
it actually
So-
won't even let you go.
Yeah, so if you, so it has to be up all the time, so if they get a call.
Once the
they
engine
can-
starts though, does it regenerate the compression? in
It
the-
does, but it takes time.
Takes time.
And how much do you have budget for that, Meredith? For the-
We have $1,600 budgeted.
That's for the onboard?
That's for 2, yes, for
Yeah.
2 onboards for next year.
Thank you.
Like I said, we've already done, 1 came with it, we're doing 1 this year, and we're doing 2 next year.
And after that, do you need to do any?
Then
additional-
after that, we won't have to do any more, because then they'll be done.
Oh, we all done.
And then we don't have to worry about designing a system for that station that would keep those lines retracting and things like that. Get the air hoses out of the way so the trucks can get out. And we can move we try to swap especially our 2 engines, we try and swap them front to back all the time. We rotate them every month, so engine 4 might be the first one out in the beginning, because we're trying to give them equal maintenance, equal road time, so we're swapping them all the time. So having those so that we don't have to plug shorelines in all the time would be.
So currently, how do you operate that vehicle?
Which one?
The one that doesn't have a compressor in it?
Right now, we have to make sure that it's in a place where it can be plugged in.
And that inhibits your response time because you have to unplug it in order to depart?
So, no, because it comes out automatically.
It's an automatic
Yeah.
separation?
Right now, the one that we're doing now, the rescue, which is in the front of the middle bays if you're driving past the station, does not have a shoreline to it, and we're having issues with it right now not being able to start. It starts, but it can't go anywhere until the air pressure comes up. So you have to sit there with it feet on the gas until you can rev that up, till the air pressure comes up enough.
But you don't have a line going to that vehicle?
Correct. And so we looked at running lines across the station so that we could plug all those trucks in from the compressor that's in the furnace room.
Okay, you're explaining solutions. What's going through my mind is, for years, all this time, we've had it where if you got a call, the firefighters went there, they had to start up the truck and wait for it to
We
reach
have,
that charge?
we have 2 bays right now where you can plug in trucks. One doesn't have to, we have 2 bays, the front 2 bays.
Okay,
Right now, Rescue 1 doesn't have the connection it takes to plug that in. So the air is there, but the truck doesn't have the connection because it didn't come with the connection.
Because it has its own compressor.
No, because it just didn't come that way.
so
So
how does
for-
it, the only way for it to charge itself is by starting the vehicle?
Yeah.
Okay,
So in last year's budget, we put in the budget $300 for an air shoreline.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than do that, we changed that over to an onboard air compressor instead of doing that line. So that now it can be parked anywhere and it isn't gonna matter, because it isn't gonna have to be plugged in anymore. So efficiency-wise and cost-wise, it seemed like it made sense to do this with all of our trucks. Right now, Tanker 1 is parked behind the rescue. There is no shoreline back there, but it needs to be plugged in. So periodically, it has to come out and run just to keep the air pressure up in order to make sure that we can get it out the door. This is a much more efficient and in the long run, like I said, cheaper system as opposed to wheels and.
And it sounds that way, Meredith. It truly does. What
And
I'm,
it's hard to explain.
no, you don't even have to explain it though. What I'm struggling with is prior to having these onboard compressors,
She just said they would have to take the
We
truck
always-
out and start it up every once in a while.
To be
but
fair,
we've
she
never
said
heard
two-
of this as being an issue that
she
we
said
can't respond out.
Two of the vehicles had an ability to always be ready to go.
Two of them have the ability.
One, because it's brand new.
No, prior to that, two of the bays had air supply
And they
lines.
still do.
And they still do. It was just those vehicles that weren't in those two bays, any of those vehicles would require the manual engine.
And as the trucks get older, they're gonna lose air more consistently.
Well,
So that
air
need
brakes
for that
leak.
compressor is going to
All
come
of
up
them.
more
They
and
all-
more.
But
So
what
our
is the onboard
rescue,
running on?
when the rescue was brand new, we didn't have this issue, didn't lose air. So as they get older, we're losing, and it just is the nature of the beast.
But those compressors, onboard compressors, have to be powered by something. Are they powered by the batteries of the vehicle? Or they're an external AC?
They're 12 volt that are powered by the battery.
By the battery? What is the risk as these vehicles age and have leakage, that your compressor system will drain your battery and render the vehicle unusable?
I honestly don't know the answer to that.
But it is a factor, because over time,
I would
Jeff says
suppose
they do leak, and therefore your compressor will constantly kick in. And I'm just trying to figure out.
Then I think maybe you would replace the compressor, but I would think that would be years down the road. But I
Well-
honestly wish I don't have an answer for that.
Yeah, my concern is we're replacing one problem with a potentially another, if it's retrofitting an older vehicle. That's my concern. And
Well,
gonna
we're seeing it come in the new trucks, that's why we figured it was a better solution than the solution that we had.
Why wouldn't it be better for the moment to continue to use the, what did you call it, the onshore, offshore?
Just a shore, air shore line.
Shoreline, yeah.
The shoreline, thank you. Why wouldn't it be better to take the two vehicles that have it, move them out of the two bays that have the lines, and put the older vehicles in there and have them always hooked up?
Because they don't fit.
Fit in terms of
Lengthwise,
space, lengthwise.
So right now, what we had to do with when our new engine came in, so our new engine and our older engine sit one behind the other. And we swap them every month.
Yeah.
Over on this side, we have the rescue and the tanker, because that's the only way they fit.
Yeah, but my
The
only
one
concern is
that's in
not the
the-
loss of the compressor. My concern is that the older Rescue One vehicles brake system, they're a cylinder, and they've got gaskets, and they hold compression. But over time, they wear, and they leak, and therefore the compressor will have to kick in to regenerate. And so putting it on an older system makes less sense to me if it's utilizing the battery of the vehicle, because that concerns me.
The answer to your question, all of the apparatus are plugged into an electrical shoreline to keep the batteries maintained up in the trickle charger.
Okay, so you do have you have an AC source coming in, converting it to 12 volt and
Correct.
keeping the trickle charge, so you're not gonna lose the battery.
Correct.
Got it, okay, thank you. I'm thinking through it, I don't wanna.
Just-
one problem with
Sometimes
that.
I
For
get so,
the ignorant people here,
sometimes I get so thick.
how many
on the
other things are
leads.
plugged into that truck before you can leave?
When you start the truck up, the plugs.
Oh, they come off automatically.
And if they
They
don't,
should.
if they don't,
They
they have a
should.
breakaway, they have a breakaway.
Kind of
line.
plug at the gas.
Thank
pump,
you.
the same thing, right?
And if necessary.
Make sure you call
Like an
her.
apple.
It's like Star Wars. They crank it up, all the tubes.
Maybe
just-
make an appointment ahead of time.
Everything pops off.
Or you can call me directly, like you usually do.
Hey, you know,
Pump maintenance and testing.
But you see, where
Yes,
I
sir.
live, if she came to respond to my house, those things would be fully charged by the time she got there. I live on West Penny Hill Road.
Pump maintenance, Mark's never gonna be.
Come there, but pump maintenance, pump testing, $1,000 for pump maintenance and $1,200 for testing, for testing.
Is this the pump on the pumper?
These are the pumps on the two pumps in the tanker, yes.
On the tank, thank you.
The two engines in the tanker.
what were those numbers?
1,000 for maintenance, which is the time for them to come out and do them, the gaskets, the seals, the greasing, if anything has to be turned in the pump housing. And then pump testing, which we share the cost with Greenville, and that's $1,200.
How do you share the cost?
we go to Greenville, the guy comes to Greenville and sets up and we split the cost for, cut down on his travel time and his hourly rate. And then 500 for ATV and boat maintenance.
Okay, so the only question, so really, out of all of it, I guess there's some stuff that's just moving it, but, so last year we had 6 vehicles, and state inspection and services was 3,400. This year we added 1 vehicle, and it jumped $1,600 to $5,000 for that line item.
Will you say that one again, John?
So last year,
So it jumps
Yeah.
On the budget.
$600.
1,600. It was $3,400 last year for state inspections and services on 6 vehicles. So this year we have 7, because we added the brush truck, and it jumped $1,600.
But we're not doing all 7 either, so I don't.
Well, you
It
should
only
be,
implies it should go down.
you added a brush truck, but you got rid of a brush truck.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But
So we should.
But what
we're
number are you
doing,
talking about? Because I got 500 for state inspections and services.
3,400 on last year's and 5,000 on this year's.
5,500.
yeah, it's another zero, David.
I know I can't ask any questions.
That's why I
Wow.
use paper. That's why I use paper.
Ask what was the value? I put in 500.
Controls the spreadsheet. It's all in the spreadsheet.
So-
I honestly don't know, John, I'll have to find out.
Okay.
I apologize.
So what were we at last
These were
year?
numbers that I got from our.
Last year was,
guy.
for that line item, was 3,400.
That's last year?
So it
Yeah.
should be for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trucks.
2018.
And I did say that we are looking, what he took that was this year, I think he just took this year's cost, and I think they're more than this, but we're looking at where we took them this year, and he went up in price significantly, so we're looking to take them somewhere else and reduce them. So,
Last year
Hazen,
was 2019, as far
Hazen,
as this is concerned.
Hazen is talking with
working on
a
2020.
garage in Greenville to see
So
if we
how
can
did
reduce
that
that cost.
5,000
I guess I didn't
number
know-
come
okay,
up?
so you're saying,
That's
so what was
because
this year?
the additional, he took the costs from this
2019?
year, which are more than are on
What
the
is the
2019,
$3,400?
and added them up and they came to
2019,
5,000.
2019, not 2018.
For 5
What you're
vehicles.
correcting me, got it. Okay.
So he's looking at $1,000
You're
a
right, my
vehicle,
mind is-
and then
my
he
mind is
said that's
occurring
not
here.
right. So we are talking with another mechanic trying to reduce that cost.
So we need to,
Now this could be the thing, and this is one of those things I'm asking. Did maybe a bunch of stuff get lumped into this services line that was broken out last year? Because I'm just looking, so for example, this is probably the first year in many that we haven't seen tires as a line item.
We didn't get any tires this year. We didn't need tires this year.
Okay.
We were due to do tires on the brush truck.
But then we got,
the new
right.
brush truck, so then the tires went away.
okay, and then you had things like, so it's just one of those things, like I'm just wondering if some of this stuff,
I think when he looked at the cost this year, of course, prices went up, but
Mhm.
the garage that we've been using is now charging us, the hourly rate based on like what a dealership would charge, and we're not gonna do that.
okay.
So we've got options that would reduce that.
So
There
that
was
5,000 was based on that charge, that unit charge, his hourly rate?
He did his hourly rates, he charges us the dealership rates on parts, on air filters, on fuel filters, and we know we can do better than that.
Okay. So the
So in other words,
5,000
we're
could,
looking to cut, I probably shouldn't say that on public TV. We're looking at options, let's put it that way. Because we agree that that shouldn't have gone up that much.
There was 1,000 for tires this year.
And we did not spend it on tires. What we ended up doing was, instead of putting the tires into the brush truck, we spent that for batteries for the new brush truck. It's a new brush truck.
you guys have more data than I have.
I was
It
here
is last year's.
That's right, that's right. Maybe next year I'll be better.
Thanks.
Okay. All right.
So when we come back around again, I don't have a problem with reducing that based on the state inspections going down, because we know that there's a problem and we can get a better deal. It's just we gave you the cost that we spent this year, and we just kept it the same.
Okay.
Well, I've got that flagged for you to get back to us on.
Okay? I have it written, so. Computer services is the 433 line item. We do not need any computers this year, but what we do need, so we reduced it by 500, and what we're looking to do is to purchase just a monitor we've got a system called Spotted Dog that that tracks our trucks and our people that are responding. It's on our phones, and we have a computer at the station that has a video screen that when you come in, you can see who's coming to the station.
What kind of monitor are you getting for $500?
Just a big TV. All we're looking is a TV screen, a big.
Does it have to be a TV screen, or can it be a computer monitor? And
It can be whatever is big enough so you can see it from both trucks, because rather than buying two, we're looking for putting one big one between the two truck bays so that as you come in, you can see it. It's an, go ahead.
TV screen would be big, would be cheaper than a monitor,
Well,
absolutely.
it depends on the size, right? I was trying to figure out, are we talking
Regardless
27
of the
inch?
size.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably.
Okay,
But gotta have RGB input. I'm just trying to figure it out because
We just
I mean,
need something that can go into our old laptop, because our training laptop from last year is being moved over into the station to pick up that responsibility for Spotted
Yeah,
Dog.
so it
But-
depends on what the TV will take. as
Okay.
input.
But it also tracks personnel coming into the station
Yes,
for responding to
yeah,
calls.
so everybody that gets it on their phone gets an alert, and then there's a button where they can hit that they are responding, and it shows that they are coming to the station or going to the steam, tells them how many minutes out they are. So the guys, as they come in, can wait and say, okay, Mike Kane is 2 minutes out, we'll wait for him, or he's going to,
All right.
so it's a management
So
system.
that's also predicated on all the people having a smartphone and also that they're not in a dead zone?
Even if you hit that you're responding from your house, if you hit it on the way, which you shouldn't be doing because you're driving, but that's a poor example. If you hit it somewhere where there's a dead zone, it will pick it up. It'll keep spooling like a text message will until they hit a spot where there is, and then it'll pick up their location and give you how far out they are.
So how do they currently, how would you know who's coming?
Right now, we just have a little tiny computer that sits by the door.
Okay.
But you actually have to go over there, and we just want something visual enough that they can walk in and say, okay, I'm waiting for this person, or this one's not coming.
So this is for the TV and the mounting for it? Because
Yeah,
you're gonna have the
yeah.
mounting. Okay.
That's why we put $500 in, because we knew the TV wouldn't be that expensive.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out the cost. Okay, so it's a mounting as well.
Communications, we have an increase, and I'm still trying to figure out, and I don't know, where we are with trying to reduce our phone costs at the station. When we made that phone switch over 2 years ago for the townwide, we ended up with this fancy phone system down there that we do not need and we do not use.
But you have the phone system for what it is, just explain where the increase is.
The increase is,
Roughly 700 and change.
$800 roughly.
$734. We'd like to round
Give me
down.
I
just a
guess
sec.
you do.
Comcast, come on.
the increase is in equipment, communications equipment, which is our pagers and our radios. And I've got a breakdown of what we're looking to replace, an addendum that I can give you copies of if you want. So it's the purchase of pagers, batteries, chargers, clips to hold them on your belt like this one, repair if they need to go out for repair, and then the portable radios. We're not looking to buy any new portable radios, but we're looking at radio lights, batteries, things like that, that need to be the consumables that need to be replaced.
Well, if you're roughly rounding $800 yet on this year's budget. Is there a reason why you wouldn't purchase those items now and not have it in next year's budget?
There was an addendum on last year's that
Yeah.
included all those
Yeah.
items. In last year's budget, which is this.
Are you saying with excess money to
In your
purchase the
current,
stuff?
right,
I'm not sure how much excess we have.
well, I'm just looking at that line item.
Well, what about the current line item, since this is over a month old?
I'm using the numbers she just provided, which was from today.
That data we know.
Mm-hmm.
Communications, I show a balance of $844 remaining.
I was rounding down, I was taking after John again.
I know there's an outstanding repair and an outstanding, install on a radio into Deputy Summerall's truck, but I don't have the amount on that, but we could certainly spend, we can do that and take some down, I just don't know how much it's gonna be yet.
On that same,
A lot of
On
these
that
things
same
we've
thought.
held off on till this time of year, that's why it's hard to do budgets in October. We've held off, making sure we don't have any catastrophic events, and now we're trying to spend the money we have, so.
well, for example, the computer budget for last year, you had this year. You had
Yep.
$1,000, you
Yep.
spent 500. Do you expect to spend that 500? I mean, I assume at this point that perhaps that's a surplus that could go towards the communication budget this year. And
Yep.
it's batteries and pages.
But I'm over quite a bit in my maintenance for the $3,000 worth of SCBA repair. So I'm kind of watching all of that right now.
Well, your education and training, you probably have another $2,300 there, so.
I'm watching it all.
Yeah,
And so am I, and that's why I'm saying, I'm looking forward. What we've already appropriated is there. I don't wanna see it getting spent on things that, yeah, what I like versus what I need.
I'm not gonna spend it on things that we don't need just to spend money.
Right,
But
but
That's all
I'm
we're looking
looking
at
at the
is-
catastrophic things like the SCBA thing that I've gotta find $3,000 for and keep my budget the same. That's why it's hard to do budgets in the
Where's
end of
your bottom line
October,
budget
cause
right now?
there's outstanding bills that haven't come in yet. That you guys are saying I got
Yeah.
a whole bunch of money that
127.
I've
Well, we're
been
gonna-
waiting
What
on.
is
No, I know.
I
I
think
$127.
understand.
Are you
what we're
talking
saying
this
is we're
year's?
trying to find
Yes.
ways to
Right.
spend
Yes.
the monies this year.
Right, yep, I agree.
And save the
76,000,
taxpayers money next
Yep,
year. if we
no, I
can.
agree.
But
7,600.
I understand your point, that you've got to worry about those things. You still got another 2 months of operational considerations, but it's something we would like you to
Okay.
stay focused on.
Okay,
yeah, if we, yeah, just, I mean, cause, I mean, take into account, we've got about $20,000 in stipends, about 3,000 in your stipend
$20,000 in stipends.
Yes, to pay.
to pay.
Oh, to pay.
Yes.
I thought you meant we had left
No,
over.
no, no.
No, well, you do, I mean,
See
right
how
now,
big her eyes got?
you technically do, you,
We all want the money.
right, well, that's what I'm saying, you've got 20,000 left in stipends to pay.
Yep,
So that's in the budget. You've got your 3 on your stipend. So I mean, so that's 24. You know, some here so that leaves you about 50,000 still. I mean, that's even. I'm just looking. Yes, you have some stuff that's there, but if you could take a look on that while you're going to look at the other things and see if there's any money you could encumber this year. And then when you come back with that new number for the inspections, you could tell us what you're able to adjust. Like you said, if you can go out tomorrow and buy all those things you need for the pagers, the clips, the radio mics, all this, which on your addendum last year, that was about $3,400. So even if you could take $1,500, then you could reduce your communication or even keep your communication level funded. So just put on your notes, just put to look at that, if that makes, I mean, anything that we can use from what we've already taxed people for instead of having it go into a slush.
well, I'm looking at that now too.
Yeah.
You know, we're starting to put in orders for things that, like consumables that we've been
Mhm.
holding off on.
Right.
Again, we're trying to, you know, not buying, it's consumables and stuff until we know we're gonna have a catastrophic failure with a truck or something, all of a sudden we have to do something with.
Mhm.
So we're now getting into that, okay, now let's reassess where we are and let's buy some of the things that are on, and everybody gets this printout and says, we haven't done this yet, we haven't done this, we haven't done this, let's do it. So that's where we are kind of right now.
While we're on the topic of communications, we've got a strong possibility that we're gonna be getting a cell tower up off Old Peterborough Road. Is that of any value? I think it's been asked, but just double checking, that you might need space on that tower or, ground space on a pad?
The only value that, well, the value it would have for us would be, we do have some dead zones in town that pagers do not trip. Most everybody is okay, but there's a couple of people that, out on Poor Farm Road is one that's kind of a dead zone. And then kind of over by the Greenville line is that same thing.
So you'd be using like the standard service providers, AT&T, Verizon?
Well,
US
Wait a minute, you're dispatched by Southwest Mutual.
I'm talking about a repeater for Southwest. If
Okay.
you're talking about cell phones, the one thing that it would do for us is, because we've got those 4 iPads in our trucks, that we use for responding, for looking at information on a scene, things like that. There's a lot of places in town where we don't have coverage for those, so we could use them, like going around on Main Street by Caleb and Gray Shaw's.
But you don't need private communications, you would rely on the coverage that that cell tower would give you through the
For
public.
the iPads, yes, because they're set up here, they're through that US Cellular.
I think what Bert was asking, is there a need, or is there any value in having space on the tower or on the pad for what I call private communications, i.e. things which we manage, we control, and we own? For example, do we have our own radio system, or are we relying entirely on the public network to get our communication?
So I think you're talking about if the police put a repeater up there and stuff.
Right.
At some point, it would be nice to put a repeater up there, but I think the police are more important than we are.
No,
As far as that, because
but
our
I'm just saying,
communications is
what
better
we're
than
doing is we're trying to condition it
Right.
through the planning board and reserving space as part of our lease agreement with Vertex. We need to do it now.
It's a forward-looking question.
Go
I don't
ahead.
know, because it's,
I would say, to go ahead and reserve the space, the fact that we may not be able to use it immediately, but to have it as an option for us, I think is definitely something we should do.
But I just need somebody to explain the applicability of it to the fire department. I think I understand the police, I just don't understand the fire.
So radio communications across town, it kind of works similar to the police. We've got dead spots where we can't get out with our portables or our mobile radios. All of our communications are dispatched off Southwest New Hampshire Fire Mutual Aid, and that's all radio broadcasts, and they have repeaters across the state in certain areas. We used to have a repeater in town here that would amplify this, would bring the signal back out and repeat it to all the pagers, but they've changed around their broadcasting a little bit. But to have that option to stick a repeater on the tower, or to do something in the future, or have the availability to the local dispatch service to maybe put their equipment on the tower, possibly a good option.
But what do you mean by the local dispatch service? You get,
Southwest New Hampshire Fire Mutual Aid
yeah,
is what we use.
okay, so when there's a call,
Yep,
they send out a signal.
correct.
Is there any place in town that doesn't get that signal?
There are places in
Yes.
town, to pinpoint them exactly. I know there's some, over by Bos Farm Road, and it's hit or miss, it's depending on weather and foliage and all that other stuff. Anything that's gonna mess in with people's signals.
These are all line of sight, right?
What was that?
The radios are all line of sight, right?
No, not necessarily. Our portables, I think, are 5 watt, broadcast power, and then, our mobiles and our vehicles, I think, up to 100. So, like, I can contact Keene, with my mobile, my vehicle, but I can't really get a hold of them half the time with my portable if needed.
Could you get them from right here, physically right here?
With my mobile, in my vehicle?
Yeah.
In the vehicles, yes. But with the portables that we're operating on scene, or if we're out in the woods doing
Right.
some sort of wilderness thing, or, it's hard to communicate back to, sometimes the portables, you can't even get back to, chief's vehicle, which is, mildly down the road, so it really varies. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't.
Is there a reason why then the fire department hasn't done something to be on the pole that we have now for the police?
I don't know.
That would be a discussion we'd have to have with Southwest,
Didn't
because
the federal government require Unicom frequencies for both police
Right,
and
and we
fire?
got all the radios changed over. It was how, and I could be wrong, but I the broadcast level or whatever frequency, they had to change, so everybody got new,
So why isn't
Radios.
why isn't the current infrastructure addressing some of your concerns today? If you're on the same frequency bandwidth and we've got the police, and we put the police up on the tower, why wouldn't that mitigate that problem?
Well, so the police are operated off of a different dispatch center than the fire department are. They
So
work.
it's not the frequency, it's the.
Well, so they may be in the same bandwidth, but the actual frequencies are different, depending on, the stations or whatever you wanna call them.
Mhm.
But I believe they operate on VHF, which is the same as the fire department.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought the federal, after 9/11, the whole catastrophe of police and fire not being able to communicate effectively.
With the
Dictated.
interoperability grants, they did go ahead and give out, or grant funds to departments to purchase portable radios and being able to communicate with other departments and everything. There are set radio frequencies for, statewide, fire ground, and all that. So all that's programmed within our radios, and, we do have that capability. But the broadcast signal strengths and everything in different areas of town, depending on how rural you are, may not be as good as they could be.
So you can communicate with the police in most of the time?
Yes.
And so that means you can communicate on their frequency. If the police put a repeater on the cell tower today, you could piggyback off of that through the police.
We'd have to talk on their frequency, which we wouldn't be able to do.
Because
So
you can't,
their frequency that they operate off of, I don't believe it's just them. So they're communicating with Hillsborough County, which I believe that frequency is assigned to them. Our frequencies, we operate off of Southwestern New Hampshire Fire Mutual Aid, and those frequencies that they assign to us are the ones that we can operate off of.
right, but I get that.
Yep.
That's important, and I'm not suggesting it's not. I'm just trying to figure out what do we gain by putting just the police up there today? Because that's what we're currently thinking about. And in doing so, you can communicate with the New Ipswich Police Department on their radios today. Is that correct?
If you switch to the frequency.
If you
That's
know
right,
their frequency,
yeah,
yes.
I get it. But if you're in a dead zone,
I don't
on the
know,
fire
this is a,
frequency, couldn't you use
This-
that as a vehicle to?
this is a
We
much
could-
Yeah,
bigger
this is a-
discussion.
Well,
yeah,
the
this-
problem is you're not gonna get your repeater on that tower in the near future. I'm trying to think of ways to mitigate the problem in the near term.
If we needed to
That doesn't have
contact,
anything to do with the budget.
Well, no, I just needed if they need to.
Yeah, get it, reserve them a spot.
Yes,
If there's room on there, I know it's a negotiation thing that they don't, that they have to make money as well. I understand that, so.
we'll find you a place.
It's a
um,
big town.
I'm not sure where we are now.
Dues, subs, and fees.
Dues, subs, and fees, we left the same. We have heard at this point of no increases from any of those, so we didn't change them at all.
I'm just showing a delta of $35
Yeah.
from last year to this year. Is that a mistake on last year's, or this year's budget rather? versus
Well,
next
if
year's?
you added up last year's, it actually came to 2235, and for some reason, the number at the top didn't match.
well,
So, I add up all the numbers, and they come to 2235, and yet the amount that they had at the top was 2200. So, you can make it 2200 and it'll be fine. It's just I tallied it, so it
It's in the
added
budget.
up to.
Yeah, that's what you said, dues, subs, and fees to remain at 2,200, even though it said 2,235 at the bottom.
Yeah, it should be 2200.
Nice.
so can you change that so that next year we get 2,200 on there?
Yep,
Unless they increase the fees.
Then we'll just drop them.
mileage doesn't
Take it out
need
of
to change,
communication.
and I know that, whoops, what is that?
Is there a reason why we can't drop that to less than half, considering we only paid $330 this year?
I was just going there.
Oh,
The reason that it, needs to stay the same as we hope, we would have expended more this year if we'd had those 3 people in class. State didn't run a class, we didn't send anybody to class. We're looking to send 3 people next year, and we have always paid their mileage.
So
So
that
that would be-
mileage is not
that-
including costs. for
That
gas
mileage
for the
would
vehicle.
be, to take a class in Keene for approximately 5 months. twice a week and almost every Saturday, and the times that they go to the fire academy. So that money would have been expended this year if the state had run the
Wait
classes.
a minute,
in
you're
the
telling me
year.
they're going for training 3 days a week for 5 months?
If they're doing a fire 2, yep. If they're doing a fire 3, it's even more, or fire 1, it's even more than
And
that.
you've got how many people doing that?
Well,
Next
next
year?
year, everybody's gone through all of the fire 1. Next year, we have 3 people that still need to do fire 2, which will be 5 months, 2 days a week, Saturdays and Sundays.
Oh, Saturday and Sundays is the 2 days a week.
No.
So they're
2
going,
nights of class and then all day Saturday and some all day Saturday and all day Sunday. And we don't pay for them to be in class, but we pay their mileage to get to class and back.
so they're going for 4 days a week for 5 months.
Some days, about every other week, they are gone on a Saturday or a Saturday and a Sunday. And then the 2 nights a week are usually Tuesdays and Thursdays or Monday and Thursdays, from 6 to 10 at night. So that covers their mileage for, and they carpool, so that cuts it down a
Yeah.
little bit. But that's why the money was not expended this year. But it would like to keep it level funded for next year.
I thought you did do level 1 fire training last year, this year. Yes, understand?
We had scheduled in the training budget for this year, we had scheduled for 3 people to go to class, but there was no class, so they didn't go.
Oh, that was it, okay.
And I talked with the captain from the State Fire Academy the
No,
other
that
day.
was it, I couldn't
Yeah.
remember, I thought we had done it.
And he says it looks like there will be a class in Keene in the fall, a fire 3 class. General supplies. We still haven't solved the monthly lease thing on the water coolers?
I was trying to get an actual number of how, because I keep getting, well, we've only got 3, and someone's like, no, some places have more than. So I'd asked Scott to give us at one of the meetings, the staff meetings, how many coolers we actually have. Then we can actually go, okay, we're going to order them from Amazon, done.
But then you don't get the maintenance and the cleaning and everything on them either.
So you get rid of it. It's
They're
what
supposed
they're
to-
charging you to rent. What do we say? After 3 months or something, you can just buy another one.
Yeah, I mean, basically, you can buy water coolers for like some of them. I mean, a basic one for like $60. That like you basically turn the bottle over and water comes out when you push a button for like $60. And
Isn't there some kind of cleaning requirement in public buildings for those to be
Yeah.
maintained? and-
None of it's disposable, if you're gonna dispose of it.
Do you have one at the fire station?
Mhm.
When was the last time it was cleaned?
That's what I would like to know. I called them the other day and said, hey, there's supposed to be a cleaning thing in this, and they haven't cleaned it.
So we're paying for something we're not
And
getting.
one of the things, again, I found is when you call over there, they say, oh, you only have this amount of water coolers. We have water coolers under Town of New Ipswich, under New Ipswich, Town Office, they're like three different accounts over there for the Town of New Ipswich.
We don't
They're all
have a
called
single-
something different.
We don't have a single point of negotiation for that?
because they've each gone and gotten their own.
But
That's what we're saying. That's why we're trying to take care of this, because they're paying like $12 or so much a month just to rent this thing. That after 6 months you could literally throw the thing away, buy another one, and you've spent as much, if not less, than what we've paid on rent. And as far as cleaning them, I mean, it's spraying them out with a light bleach spray, doing it, running it through clean water, and you're done.
So my question to you is, last year you told me to buy one, so I have in my budget to buy one. I have not purchased it yet, because then that was put on hold because we were supposed to be doing research on whether we were gonna try and negotiate a deal on rentals and everything, so I was told to hold off, so I
Mhm.
haven't purchased it yet.
Okay.
Should I purchase it
John's gonna
now?
order them.
Yeah. When we do it, we'll order all of them at once.
Alright, then you can, okay, good. Cause I didn't put it in for next
Right,
year's
that's
budget,
fine,
because
yeah.
I assumed we were gonna buy it this year.
Can you just explain though the drastic increase on that line item?
Yes.
And I know it's not water bottles.
Nope, it is not. This year, I have put in a request for 2 AEDs for our trucks, for our engine 1 and our engine 4.
What's an AED?
Automatic external defibrillators.
Okay.
So that there will be 1 on each truck.
Okay.
1 for firefighter safety and for community member safety.
Okay.
But you have the ambulance responding with you, do they not?
Not always. And if we have,
What do you mean, let's be specific.
all right, so if we have a fire call right now, so if we had a structure fire right now, we would be at the scene. The
Mhm.
ambulance could be down the driveway, maybe on another call, they may or may not be there. If I have a guy that goes down on a cardiac arrest, I want an AED there.
But you have police there?
Not necessarily, they might be down blocking the road. So, at the state bid, like he said tonight, I think he said $600, but they're more than, they're 7 something. So at $700 a piece for 2 of them, then each one of my first 2 pieces out will have an AED on it.
Okay, so that's
Now,
$1,400.
I did research on the 2 most common causes now for firefighter deaths is still cardiac arrest, which is number 2, and cancer, which is number 1. So it seems like cheap money to, even if I have a structure fire that's at your house and I have a water source that's at Hutter, if the guy at Hutter goes down with a cardiac arrest while he's pumping water, I gotta get that, first I gotta find somebody to get it from your house up there.
There's
to
one at
save it.
Hutter.
I gotta break the glass.
You got a key to the door.
Yeah.
I got a key to the Knox box.
So what is the other $1,800 for?
Hang on, I'm going down. I have $200 in there for pressurized water, pressure washer for the fire trucks. In order to just, because we're finding that's the most effective way to keep all of the water softener that we put in last year is effective. And then just having that extra pressure washer is gonna make it a little bit, easier to run down there. So we're looking at a $200 pressure washer. 'Cause
Can we just go down
So-
all of these?
right now we just use a
Right.
hose.
But I'm saying, I see where we've got ads here. It's because you want to do this or you want to do that. Well, what can we cut back? What don't you need this year that you budgeted before?
What's your actual to date from Roger for that line item? Because we have 500.
3,430,
No, that's-
578.
What's that, number 610?
Yes.
The actual to date balance remaining is 2856.
So $578 on a 3,435 line item.
All right, so outstanding, as of today, I've got $600 in medical supplies, $200 in consumables, which is tarps, Gatorade, Speedy Dry, all that kind of stuff. So there's $2,600 right there. And then I haven't made the purchase for department fire.
Why am I
sheets
at 1,300? What did you just have?
yet. I'm sorry.
Can you repeat those?
So right now, out of last year's budget, what I have outstanding, which has been ordered but not billed yet, or
Mhm.
not paid yet,
Right.
is $600 for medical supplies.
Yep.
$2,000 in consumables.
What's 2,000 in consumables?
It's tarps, Gatorade, Speedy Dry, spill pads, things that we use on a scene that
That's a
we
lot
don't
of money.
reuse.
Didn't we cut that to 1,000 last year?
I don't know, but I'm just
Yes,
thinking
we did.
Gatorade and Speedy Dry and whatnot.
We
are
did. I
not
don't know what
big.
you did, Mark.
I don't know, I have 2,000 in my list, so.
Yeah, that was what was budgeted. I mean, like I said, it's her budget. We cut it to figure out what the bottom line was. But
You cut it, my recollection was that you cut it in uniform badges, you cut that down to 400,
yep,
and then
$250 in department shirts.
$250 for the shirts,
And
Can
which
you-
I still have to order.
Can you provide us with what numbers you have used
For
to
this
come
year
up with
or
the
for
sick
next year?
for next year?
For next year, I have Monadnock water, 5 gallons, $45. 24, the next Monadnock water, $100.
There's only one on this year's.
Yeah. How much for water total?
Really? Okay. $145.
Yeah.
Okay.
600 medical supplies.
Is that this year or next year?
That's next year.
This is, yeah, next year on the budget.
Next year, right?
Right, we're looking for 2020, right.
Yeah.
You didn't have anything for AED and replacement parts, or did you?
I have,
Oh, that's the 1,400 you were talking.
I have 1,400 for AEDs, and I actually have 1,600 for AEDs.
Which is it?
It's 16.
Okay.
Cleaning supplies, 400. Consumables, 2,000. Hazmat supplies, 200, which are booms and swimming pools. Uniform badges, $560 for 8. And right now I have department shirts at 500, but I know you're gonna put that back down to 250.
Wait a minute, uniform badges and T-shirts is one line.
So
What's the
1,000,
total?
you have 1,060 altogether in that?
Yes,
Okay.
Ooh, right away,
pressure washer, $200, and soap, extractor soap, 100. Which, if I figure, because I misadded,
Something went up dramatically, because even if you factor in the AEDs, it doesn't cover the increase in cost from 2,400 last year to 6,600 this year.
We only allowed 1,000 for consumables last year.
So that's only that's $6,305 from what you just gave us.
How much?
I think that's right.
6305.
I have
60.
61.
hang on,
145 for water, 600 for medical supplies, 1,600 AED and replacement parts,
Yeah.
400.
I'll confirm 6305.
63.
Yep, 6305.
so if I make it 1,600 for the AEDs and then drop the T-shirts down to 250, I come up with 5866. Let me add it again, just to make sure.
Yeah, if you drop,
I don't
if
agree
you
with
drop the
increasing that.
consumables down 1,000, you're back down to about $200 bill. What did you,
This is,
2,000 for consumables, it just seems to me there's
That's
gotta be
happening.
something other
Well,
than
we
charge
know what that
Gatorade,
is,
speedy
yeah.
dry, it's hard for me to put
to
my
be
head around.
almost twice what your budget was last year for that. I don't. As much as I agree AEDs are important to have, but when you've got fire going, we've got ambulance and we have police, and 2 out of the 3 have them in it.
My argument to that is they're not always there when you need them. We've got, say South Haven Valley ambulances out on a call, and we require mutual aid ambulance services to come to town.
Mm-hmm.
He's tied up with a criminal complaint or anything like that, are we supposed to sit there and say, we can't
No,
provide a
but
service to you?
we can go to the next level also and say, what is the probability of that ever happening?
Oh, it's happening quite a bit.
Have we ever had the use of an AED in town for fire, police, or?
I think trying to determine the probability of a heart attack is a foolhardy proposition.
It is, but.
However, let me offer an alternative. You're trying to get 100% coverage, and I get that. But if you put 1 in your budget this year, and put it on the vehicle, that make sure that's on the vehicle that's always responding, you have proximity, you're not relying on 2 other departments. Put another one in the next year. Then you're within feet of where you need it. Time is of the essence, I get that. But I also think it's also important to ask yourself, 100% coverage you know, I understand the pumper might be down there and the truck might be up, the ladder truck may be up here, and I apologize for not calling them the right things. But within that time frame, we can make sure the guy doesn't, or the person doesn't pass away.
And, you know, it's, you can play that back and forth a whole bunch of times, but there's been numerous times where we have apparatus, different, you know, we have 2 or 3 different calls going on, where we could have multiple people. All right, you know, say if our first new piece out, you know, is gonna be, you know, engine one rolls to, you know, an alarm activation somewhere.
Yeah.
Now, we have the AED on that just in case something happens, but then we get called to a medical or, you know, a motor vehicle accident, something along those lines. And, you know, the
Yeah,
purpose of us is to be prepared, you know, at all times for whatever we can, and that's really our goal.
So help me with the consumables.
I mean, I wasn't involved in making the general supplies budget.
Yeah,
so-
I understand. But I'm trying to do the right thing here and say, yeah, look, a life is worth more than any dollar on the table, period. I get that. And I wanna help that. But I also wanna make sure that we're not doing something which gonna cost us money that we don't need to spend, and I can't get my head around 2,000 on consumables either. So I'm saying, well, you know, $1,600 buys me 2 AEDs. If we drop the consumables by $1,000.
I'm looking at, if I can interject.
Yeah.
What I've done is, the AEDs are at 1,600. I dropped the consumables to 1,000, dropped the department t-shirts to 250, which gives me 5,050, no.
5,055.
You're good.
Which then drops my bottom line budget. I have 4,255. What did I do different?
But I'm just looking at it, Meredith, it's still $2,000 over last year's budget for general supplies. And that is what I can't.
Because we're looking at $1,600 worth of AEDs.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I got the numbers wrong, but 6305 is the new is what she's proposing. Last year's was 3435. That's a delta of 2870. Add the $1,600, take the $1,600 for the AEDs into account, and then that's the additional increase is 1270. There's gonna be an increase in the budget if we're spending $1,600 on AEDs, unless you can find a way to completely wipe
I
that
come
out.
up with 4622 or
But I-
55, and I
but I-
don't come up with the same thing every
But I
time.
don't get the 1270 delta even after the AEDs, that's where I'm struggling, okay? And if I popped off 1,000 on consumables, then it starts to get into last year's budget. And then the AEDs are the only things that are outstanding, that's saying, okay, that's the thing that's increasing the budget.
And the pressure washer and the extractor, so.
And that's the extra $300. That's literally the extra 270 that I couldn't factor in. But yeah, that gets us back to a nominal budget and a one-time charge of $1,600.
What am I missing?
But these-
I'm coming up with 4855.
I'm coming up with 50/50. The $200 pressure washer?
Yeah,
145. I'll do it like
145, 600, 1,600, 400, 1,000,
200,
200, which I missed.
810,
Yep,
200, 100.
yep, so I missed.
46.
Sorry, Meredith, I was in the middle of double checking math and other numbers got, so,
So 5,055.
yes.
So the difference is the $1,600.
Yeah, and that's,
Right, like Chris,
And
every year we
and the
keep
$2,000
adding things to this budget,
Consumable.
and
Sure,
next
sure,
year
sure,
it
1,000.
gets added again, and they're one-time costs, but it never gets tracked away.
So, excuse me just a minute.
maybe we're putting it in the wrong accounting.
Is the
Right.
difference for
Maybe it needs
defibrillator
to be a
pads
separate
for the AED?
accounting.
What's the
300
cost?
and then 66, 63? They're about $100 a piece, the defibrillator pads. Cause they
Well, she
expire.
already,
I've got her,
oh, can I just interject? She cut her training budget by 700.
So
Now,
training went down
and she
to,
cut her vehicle maintenance by another 700. Now, she did go up,
But when you say she cut,
From last year.
from last year, it was cut. She's asking for
My
less. She
computer
cut
budget is
500
down.
on computer, so even, I think when we get to the bottom line, if we go, and I'm making a guess, if we go with the 5,055, it's going to be almost a push from last year.
Well, if you've got
No,
that
if I put
sewer-
in 5,055 into the equation, the budget's at 125,735.
So we're still up 3,000.
Yes.
And she's worried about the scuba for this year, so you're not even getting a savings from that. That's,
Yeah, which I reduced to 2,000.
Yeah.
But I have, if we can go on,
let me ask a different question. Why is this being put under general supplies? Why isn't this equipment? I mean, I understand it's a nuance, but I'd like to understand my equipment charges versus something that's a little general supply. I don't see AEDs as general supply.
For example, the pressure washer, I would agree with you, that's an equipment. General supplies, you know, Gatorade, Speedy Dry, those things there, I can
I
see.
get that. Yeah, I know, I get
Yeah.
that. But the AED and the pressure washers
Yeah.
are equipment. Really, let's get them in the right category.
well, to me, I put the AEDs in the 610 account because that's where the medical supplies are. So I looked at it as medical supplies, but you're right, it should probably be in new.
It's a
equipment.
capital equipment, and we've gotta be able to identify that, and capital equipment is important, I'm not suggesting it's not, but putting in our general supplies doesn't look right to me in any way.
Oh, that's fine,
It doesn't change the number.
I assumed it went there because of medical supplies being there.
Yeah, but they're reusable, they're not
So-
like a Band-Aid.
Every year we've chucked away at things to make improvements, and then I've taken them off the list and I don't keep putting them back. AEDs, and when we get to the extractor for firefighters' gear, those are things we should have done years ago, and we couldn't afford to do them. So now we're finally getting to the point where we can afford to do them. You charged me this year with firefighter safety and health being the most important thing on my list of things as the fire chief. So I think that AEDs at $800 a piece for the protection of a firefighter on a fire scene is important. There are other things that I'd be willing to cut to not risk the firefighters on the fire scene.
Okay, let's go with that safety aspect of it. As was mentioned previously, ambulance, police, and one fire vehicle. I could use the same premise to say, well, why shouldn't we have an AED on the four-wheeler, have an AED on the boat, have an AED on every vehicle?
We probably should, but we won't.
Well,
But
let's,
why do we have an AED in both cruisers? Why wouldn't we have it in both fire trucks?
Is the AED portable or is it fixed into the equipment?
it's portable.
It's portable.
Right. So you're going to a fire,
Mhm.
right? When you go to a fire, how many times does the ambulance not respond, never there?
They're usually there eventually.
Okay,
Unless they're bringing someone to the hospital from that scene.
right, but then we have mutual aid and we have somebody else backing up the ambulance.
Eventually.
We have the police there.
Not always,
I-
obviously.
Not always.
I would ask you to look at any place else you can cut to do it. I think you're on the right mental thought line here.
It's more important to me to, for everybody, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I think I'm only gonna say what you wanna say, which is, the safety of the firefighters is paramount, I buy that. It's a big cost, I understand that. We've got to find some ways to manage the cost. We've got to find someplace else to give, is
Yep,
where I'm going.
and I don't disagree with that.
Okay.
So,
Does an ambulance show up at a forest fire, a brush fire?
Not always. Not
The
unless we request
firefighters
them.
show up and are doing some serious work.
The ambulance doesn't come to a brush
Right.
fire unless we request it.
Why would they not go to a brush fire?
'Cause it's-
My understanding is they go to every call just like you go to every call and the police come to every call.
No. They
Yeah,
only
that
go to
would be
building
expensive.
fires. is
If
the
there's
only
a
thing.
vehicle accident, you go to
Correct.
correct the vehicle, the police are there to direct
Yeah.
traffic.
Because there's a patient where they would need to respond. A regular alarm activation, a regular fire, unless it's a building fire, the ambulance does not come to any of our calls. car
But if
accidents,
you
they
go
come-
to the Wapak Trail and there's a fire, okay?
They do not come.
But if you were to call them and say, hey, we've got an active fire here, I'd like the ambulance on standby, are you telling me they don't
No,
go?
they would come if I requested them, yes.
So now you're taking an ambulance out of service in town, and if there's something else that happens, you're supposed to provide.
Mutual aid, that's why, yes.
Mutual aid, but now there is a lag in response from mutual aid. So they phone out, so if they can't provide a crew to meet that response, then you're gonna have somebody from Peterborough or Wilton.
Wait a minute,
or
let's
Jackson.
back up. Doesn't Sauhegan Valley have 2 ambulances?
Yes.
Okay.
Do they have a fully staffed crew for 2 ambulances at all times?
They're not even fully staffed for one to respond in time.
Exactly.
I think
Sunday morning took close
I
to
think-
half hour.
I think we should-
Response.
I think we should consider one.
Could be.
I don't disagree that you
To the
could use
church.
2,
Sauhegan.
but I think we should,
All
I
right,
think
so-
that 1 is not unreasonable.
Right.
And I would support that.
That's just
Fully.
my.
But be advised that there'll probably be another one coming next year.
Right.
Again.
That's fine.
Understand
And
that.
that's
Aren't there
So-
grants available for those?
This price is a state bid price, which is half the
That's
cost
a
of the
state
regular
bid,
aid.
but are there grants where you apply and they provide you the,
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
We're going after a grant for the SCBA packs, but not for these.
okay.
So all I'm saying, right now, so if you took another 800 off of 257.
So then it would bring it down to.
42.55, right?
I'm looking at total budget, because that's all I'm looking at right now, to try to, the 1, 2, 4.
And what'd you say the state bid was for the AEDs?
It depends, it looks, right now, we're leaning to the Phillips, which is just under $800. There's a Zoll one that has come out that's just over $800, but I think we wanna stay consistent with what the rest of the town has. So it'll be just under $800.
So right now, if we go to 1 AED, with the other adjustments that are already in there, it brings the current budget, and we haven't even gotten down to the other piece. That's at 124,935. That's 2281 increase. But she has not come back with the other 2 pieces to look at, which are
The maintenance.
The maintenance,
The state
the
inspections.
inspections and maintenance line, as well as, is there any money that we could expend this year
Oh, on communications.
on communications or any other, specifically communications, but, so we could be looking at a flat budget, and we haven't even gotten to the other significant increase line to talk about.
How
What
can
is
we
that?
get to that
What is-
understanding between now and the end of the year? Because there's a lot of potential, and how do we get to actual? In other words, there are a lot of, are we gonna have another meeting on the fire budget to discuss?
What we ask is for, if she doesn't come in, she would at least send a response saying, I found this information, so we can reduce this line item by this amount, and we spent this, so we can reduce the communications line item by this amount,
And when would we know that?
before we do a budget, before we officially
Finish
lock in the budget.
Finish the budget. And that would be after the end of the year?
Yeah,
No, it
well,
should be
it
before
should
the
be.
end
We're
of the
hoping
year.
before the end, before the end.
I'm just trying to figure out the time.
Don't shake your head no, Mark. I can see it.
Taking bets.
I can see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can pick up $900 if we back up to the mileage budget. We increased the mileage budget last year from $300 to $1,200. The year-to-date, at least the beginning of October, only $258.
Right, but she explained why.
Yeah, she went through that.
For the mileage?
Yes.
Yeah.
She already explained that
We had a whole-
there was a class that was supposed to be offered this year, was not offered. So we have to pay mileage for them to go to Keene for 5 months at 2 to 4 times a week.
$1,000. All right.
What do you get, John, when you take out that other,
124,935.
no, off the 610 line?
It becomes
42.55.
42.55.
Yeah.
sure this all makes sense. So that 42.55. So I come up with 124,970.
124,935.
935. You probably still have your
No, I know what I do.
2235.
Yep, I do.
It's 2200.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
$35. Rear its head.
I may be speaking out of line, but, you know, say if we have that surplus in the mileage this year, would that be a place where we could get the additional AED funds for?
Yes, it is.
My understanding is that you have discretion to use.
Everything within her budget, as long as she doesn't go over the bottom of the line
And I
item.
would-
Yes.
I would do that.
Yeah. But that's just like I said. But that's also where I would say if you can cut,
Yeah.
save money on communications, and if you can pick up the AED. I mean, because like you said, you had budget $300 for the hose just to get the hookup, but then you spent the additional money to actually get the generator. Wherever you guys find that money, that's your money as long as the bottom line comes to the 122,654.
So I have a question on just keeping this all in the right lines. I would like to move that AED $800 from the 610 account to the new equipment.
We'd also like you to move the pressure washer over
I think the pressure washer would go over there too.
there. It's equipment.
Equipment.
Not general supplies.
Yes, yes.
Alright, so I'm gonna move $1,000. So that will bring us down to
42.55.
32.55.
And raise that other one to
And then
to 14,336.
to
That's not gonna be a fun. Did I say that out loud?
Well, there's still
You
there's-
did.
well, there's
I'm sorry.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's I just
That was
it's
my outside voice. I'm sorry.
so this is gonna add,
We could read your mind.
cause I gotta do this on my computer when I'm home. AED.
This is why my wife doesn't want me to do this stuff.
That's why my husband doesn't want me to do this stuff. Alright, so 620 remain the same. That's that Conway office maintenance agreement which pays for our maintenance plus all the ink and everything, which was cheaper to do it that way than to just buy it outright and buy our own ink. So we didn't have any changes there.
just if you're just your own notes, take out increase because you say you increase it to 750. You didn't increase it. You stayed at 750. In your on your PowerPoint,
Oh,
It says
mine
in-
says level funded.
ours says increase. So it's probably
See if you use these?
yeah. we use the one you emailed us.
I
Yeah.
know, but then I
Let's
gotta,
have the numbers on it?
No,
what?
Mark. That's why you keep your notes from the prior year.
Conway
We're
office
past that,
supplies,
Mark.
460 for the maintenance agreement,
Yeah.
and then 290 for office supplies. Staplers and, not ink, but staplers, pens, paper, all that kind of stuff.
How much was the first one?
590.
What?
Forget it. All set.
460,
And how much will the office cost?
290.
I thought you said it was 590.
460.
And that includes, supplies for like our ID tags and everything, so that's all in there as well. Electricity, I level funded, cause I haven't been able to get the information on usage, we're pretty doggone close right where we are now.
Well, it looks like you're gonna have surplus there.
It's darker.
What does your budget say you've said
My
so far?
budget says I have 1,500 left,
Correct.
and I
Yeah.
have
Okay.
3
You only got
months,
2 months
three
left to
months of
pay.
bills, October, we haven't paid October yet.
3 months. Divided out on a $4,500 budget, that's,
The same. Pretty close, and we haven't hit the dark months yet. Well, 45 and you got 15, that's a third of it, which means we've spent 2/3.
It's 1125. So you'll have a little bit left over.
and I didn't use a calculator.
I wouldn't spend it.
Buy ink. Oh, wait, never mind.
I don't think she'll have any left.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I think we did pretty good to cut it that close.
Yeah.
But my question would be, at some point, we should be thinking about LED lights in the station.
What do you have
Should save
there,
us money.
fluorescent?
In all the bays.
You know,
I
you
saw a
can-
budget in here for changing LED lights. I thought it was the fire station.
Take a whole lot more than that. Heat, we level funded as well. Again, I haven't been able to get accurate what we've expended from Roger as far as gallons. Right now, we have 12% left. We're gonna be over.
We have
full
$650 left.
Do we have a town contract for this stuff? So it's just what they consume, it's not the price.
Correct.
So we
Are
have
the tanks full?
$5,000, we have $648 left.
Do you know if the tanks are full?
I do not. The propane, they just came for propane the other day.
So they're full.
Propane is, but I don't know about the oil tank. Oil tank's underground, behind the station.
How big a tank is that?
Why do you propane anyway? Dumb question.
Propane heats the office and
The
the training
modular.
room, the two modular classrooms,
Okay,
and the furnace heats the station.
the station, so.
And the station is only heated to 59, 60. So then my next question would be, does any of that extra money from this year, maybe a new furnace?
You have that much money left over?
No, I mean, your
Oh.
money that you had extra, like, you're talking about LED lighting and,
I was only reading your sheet is what I was reading.
no, I meant from last week when you talked about excess funds on
That's for the street
block
lighting.
grants or something,
Street lighting,
State aid?
state aid.
yeah.
But at some point, I think that's something, I know Mark was there today with, Sorby and Sons doing some repairs on that furnace. The furnace is as old as the fire station, so it can't be, so the guy was gonna give us, an efficiency output on it today and give us a cost on what it would cost to change it over, so, but that's not in my budget, so. But it would reduce my heating budget if we got a better furnace.
Well, that should only be to keep the trucks from freezing because it's unoccupied building, right?
That's all we're doing, and
Yeah.
that's what we're spending to do that, which is keeping it right above, so that people can put their feet in their gear without turning icicles. And
But you don't know, you don't know the
keeping the
allocation
fluids in the, I do not.
between propane and oil.
The propane I have at 1,024.49, which is last year, same as last year. And then oil I have 2477.39.
$1,049 for propane, is that actual, that's not for the full year,
That's what I have.
year to date?
I do not have a breakdown year to date. It only shows up as one. The only thing I have from Roger is it only shows up as one lump sum.
But I don't think those two numbers that you just mentioned add up to 4,000.
Yeah, they only go to 3,500, so
Yeah.
there's $1,500 difference, that's why I was asking.
Oh, and then, estimated for the rest of the year, 1750.
So year to date is what I'm interpreting.
And those were last year's numbers, cause that's all I had to go on.
I understand, that's all I was trying to figure out.
So, what I took was the exact same numbers that we had from last year, and just plugged them in again, cause I couldn't get a breakdown from Roger as far as, and I know Scott had asked him to do that. I couldn't get a breakdown as far as gallons that we had used or, and propane usage either. So I just kept it the same as last year.
Well, do you not keep copies of your receipts that you turn in?
But they don't have it on it. We get, for some of them, like, some of them, we just get one massive bill that we all sign off on. That might be, well, I don't know, I'd have to look.
It should be broken down by where they deliver the fuel to.
Yeah. If they're not, they should be.
We're gonna get down to fire equipment and
That's where you're the one who likes going line by line. I want to
Mostly
jump to
we're gonna
the.
keep the same. Fuel, we're gonna keep the same. $2 left for the remainder of the year based on the printout I just got from Roger, out of $2,000.
Your books and periodicals, you wanna put that at $1, or just go ahead and leave it at 0, put it to 0?
My understanding is if we put it to 0, that goes away, doesn't it?
Well,
Yeah,
so $1 on that.
Okay,
we can cut it somewhere.
we're finding most everything we can access online, so we'll keep the tabs on that. You just upped my budget by $1.
Yeah.
Hold on. I can-
Wait, Mark,
Well, we'll take it off of something else.
I have no fear.
I'm willing to make I'm willing to make a donation.
There, it's back to 0. New and replacement equipment.
Okay, this gotta just.
All right, you want all of these, I'll give you them line by forestry nozzles.
I'd like you to start with the one right before that.
The increase due to gear extractor for firefighter safety and health.
Yes, it's further down though.
She's explaining the increase as opposed to the line item.
That
Don't you
line.
want the dollar amounts?
I want the dollar for that line there, increase due to gear extractor for fire safety and health. What was,
Bottom of the bullet points.
Okay.
It's
Not on our sheet.
Right, but yeah, we get the, just what is the dollar amount? What is the actual dollar amount for that gear extractor? Is what is,
Yeah.
That's at the bottom.
5,000.
But the money's not.
Okay.
Is it 5,000?
All along, you've been asking for each one
I
of
know,
them.
I know, but it was right there at the top.
it's
So
in the
we're
first
just,
sentence, so
yeah, so
I
that's why
fill
we
it in
asked.
there. I know
That's
you,
just the
I know it's
recap.
duplicated.
Oh,
I'd kinda like you to go down the list.
That's the comment.
Have you gotten a price for that?
yes, I have.
Okay, good.
Okay, go ahead.
Even brought you copies. Right now, it's going for $4,500, which I don't have, but after.
We'll go to 4,500
No, no, no,
then.
no, because the actual estimate from the company is $5,150. Because this is a order now, which I can't do. But this extractor is, I mean, we looked at them all the way from 10,000 to 30,000 to, this is one that had just came out. We were looking at one that was a little bit less efficient than this one and that would only do one set of gear. This will do 2 sets of gear. It will tie into 120 electrical, and, you know, I don't see that we have a need for a $10,000 or a $30,000 extractor.
Is the extractor the cleaning component or the drying
The
component?
extractor is the washing component.
The washing.
Yes.
Okay.
And
I
the
did
way it's
see-
designed is it washes with minimal amount of water and then extracts that
I
water.
understand the equipment's got its own chemical treatment, you
Yeah.
don't wanna destroy it, and
Right.
the same is true for drying it. But I did see, but how do you dry them?
That's the next thing we're talking about is we think we can, they have actual gear dryers, but we're thinking that we
I
may
saw
be
the
able to
news.
create them on
you're
ourselves
supposed to
out of
just hang
PVC
them.
I
piping.
saw it on the news the
What?
other
I
night.
thought you were
that
supposed to
the
just
fire
hang
department
them.
did for $1,000.
You can, but
You
they need
can,
an
but
actual.
The way they have gear dryers now is they have them that they look like hangers and they're
Mhm.
PVC piping with holes in it that has air
Yeah.
that then dries the inside of the gear while it's drying the outside. The benefit to the extractor over the washer is the better treatment to the gear, but it's also doesn't put as much water in and takes as much water out, so the drying time is faster.
Okay.
But anyway,
So most of the time we would hang it. So we're not looking for a gear dryer.
no,
We're gonna
but
try
the
and
fire-
design that ourselves.
As an aside, there's a fire department that's giving plans for a PVC dryer that you can build for like $1,000 that'll dry 5 suits.
That's what we're looking at, doing
Okay.
ourselves.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Okay.
We're not looking at putting that in the budget. We just,
No, it's just, I thought it was a great idea.
it is a great idea.
I don't know
fire
if you guys
academy
have
has a
extra
main
suits.
amount of metal.
You probably, do you have 2 sets of equipment, 2 suits? So if you have to go to another call.
No, nope, we do not. That's why we're trying to get an extractor in. So right now, each firefighter has 1 set of turnout gear.
Okay,
What we're looking to do is put the extractor into the budget so that we can have them wash their gear right away. Right now, we're either sending the gear to Peterborough, which is taking it out of service, and then we just cross our fingers that they don't have a call. We can't afford to buy every firefighter 2 sets of turnout gear at $2,500 a piece. So we're just looking for an extractor to keep what they have clear and clean.
Forestry nozzles.
Forestry nozzles, $525.
How are they different from the 6 nozzles you were budgeted for this year?
They are
Nice.
smaller, they're designed specifically for forestry hose, for either 1-inch hose, 1.5-inch hose, or what they call toy hose, which is like garden hose.
And what's the
And we have
advantage
it-
of spending that money for those, if you didn't have them, you would use a regular nozzle?
No, if we didn't have them, the ones that we have aren't working well. You have to have ones that connect to the specific hose that we're using. So the ones we have now, we're demoing a couple right now, but the ones we have now are plastic, and they haven't held up, and so.
Are the ones you're buying
We have to
plastic,
replace
or
them.
are you buying?
No, we're actually looking at ones that they've designed now that are not plastic, so they'll last longer. Forestry hose, we haven't replaced any forestry hose for a while, so it's inch and a half is all we're looking for this year. It's $118 for 100 feet, and we're looking for 3 lengths. So $354.
So it's $525 and $354 for that line item.
Yep, so, are they lumped together on yours? I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's
Okay.
300 feet, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Thank you. Don't call me sir.
He works for the,
Exactly.
MSA vehicle chargers, MSA is our gas meters
Mm-hmm.
that we have that monitor air quality. Right now, the chargers are on the tables inside the station, and we're looking just to wire them into the rig so that we would always have them with us. Right now, you have to grab them if you have a call, but we want them on the vehicles so that no matter what we go to, we will always have them on the scene.
So there's no chargers on the fire trucks?
Correct.
How much are those?
These
I
are,
get a charger in my truck. We're talking a different type of
Oh, okay.
charger, right?
well, yeah.
We're
you
not
got-
talking a
They're
12
a,
volt.
they're a unit drop-in charger is what they are, so we're just gonna wire those in. So those are, we need one for each engine and one for the rescue, and we have 3 air monitor,
Mm-hmm.
we have 3 of them. So we're looking for the chargers they're $254 a piece, so it's $762. And those would then be, we can wire those in ourselves into the truck, so they will be like your charger.
so today you have an AC plug-in charger in the fire station for those units, is that right?
Correct,
You're gonna add ones that'll run DC in the vehicle.
correct.
You still need the ones in the fire department building?
We wouldn't need those, but those came with
Why-
the chargers.
No, I understand, but you know that you can buy a DC to AC inverter for $35, $40. Plug it
Yeah,
into the
but that
fire.
only, yeah,
Look, I'm trying to get to 2 AEDs, okay?
yeah.
I'm not buying 762 so you can put in a charger in the vehicle when you can do it by intercepting it with an AC to DC converter at a lot cheaper.
But you have to plug that AC DC converter into something.
You don't have a cigarette lighter in the fire truck?
They don't put cigarette lighters in fire trucks anymore.
I
Whoa,
guarantee,
no.
I guarantee you, in the fire truck, there's a fuse box. In that fuse box, you can pull 12 volts off and wire a separate component to it, and then hook that into a off-the-shelf
Okay.
cigarette adapter, which you can then buy. I have one in my truck, I'd be happy to bring it in and show you, that converts my DC 12 to 120 AC, and it works fine.
But that'll be loose in the truck, correct?
That's fair, that is a fair point.
So it should be mounted so it's secure. So
These are designed to be mounted.
that's a safety concern.
Again,
in a
I'm gonna
moving-
repeat,
in a
I'm
moving
trying to
fire
buy
truck.
an additional AED.
I think we already went down that
Yeah.
road.
Yeah, well,
All right,
I'm
yeah.
gonna pursue it. I don't like that charge myself.
The rescue equipment, rescue jacks is $4,500. This is, this is where I'm willing to save money to get back the AED and keep the extractor, is to take that off the table and deduct this $4,500. With the exception of, I would like $600 for something else.
Well, I'm being really reserved here, and I'm gonna wait until you go all the way down and give me these numbers before I
Okay.
comment.
$100 for 1 3/4 adapters.
So the adapters and valves is $100, or there's
There's 4 of them, yeah.
What are these?
So is that $400 or $100?
They're
Right.
$100
Yeah.
for 4, they're
So the-
$25 a piece.
okay. So miscellaneous adapters and valves. That whole line item is
Okay, so let me see, 5, 6, 7, $789, which gives you the adapters, ball valves.
Just in a real 5-word, what are they?
There's a 5-inch to 4-inch Storch adapter which takes our size hose and makes it so it fits.
So these
in
are all for
5
hoses?
inches, yes.
All for hoses?
They all adapt to make connections so that they work on a fire scene.
All
Okay.
hoses. Good.
Last year, we reduced the budget by half of the amount of carabiners and half the amount of harnesses.
Were you not buying some of those last year?
Yes,
Yeah.
I wanted 4 and you cut it to 2,
Yeah,
and now I need the other 2, so they are back.
so $325.
No, it ended up being a whole lot more expensive. They ended up being $463 a piece.
So what is the value of that?
What do you mean, what's the value? The total?
At
Yeah.
line,
$926. And then the carabiners are $480.
We didn't
for
cut
10.
carabiners, we left carabiners at $210 for 15 carabiners.
We need more carabiners then, because we have 10.
What, you lost 5 carabiners?
No, we have additional. We don't just need 15.
Who's in charge of the
carabiners.
No, it's like, oh, we only got 10. We bought 15. How'd you lost 5 carabiners?
No, last year we put in for half of the amount of carabiners we needed. Now we need the other half.
No, what John is saying is that
We
we
just put them in
cut
the
the
budget
rescue
last
harness.
year.
We did.
We bought 15 last year.
Yes, that's half of what we need.
Okay.
We only put in for 15 last year.
Right.
That's half of what we need.
But you
Now
just
we're
said
putting
we-
the other
So how much do you want
So
to
you
spend
need-
on
Yes,
carabiners?
926 was the harness plus,
926 is for 2 harnesses,
yes.
and $480 is for 10 carabiners that are rated for 2 people.
How many for 10 carabiners?
$480.
You paid $210 for
210.
No, we didn't.
We budgeted
I know we
$210 for 15.
Yeah, we did. We budgeted 210 for 15
I know
carabiners.
we did. Trust me, it was not enough. We ended up buying, what did we say we were gonna buy last year? 10?
15.
15, we ended up buying 10.
You didn't lose 5.
We
So
did lose 5, but because
So-
of the cost.
right, but so then
What
they'd
happened was
be
the ones
they'd be
that you-
$21 a piece.
The ones that we were looking at did not meet the NFPA standard, so we had to spend more money.
Standard again.
Right,
Yeah,
but still
thanks,
that so at 10 for $210, that's 20. That's
so you really
I can
want,
tell you that the carabiners we just bought that's where this cost came, the $480 for 10. So they were $48 a piece.
so,
But these are those hooks, right?
Yes, then they have the locking gigs on it.
Yeah.
And they have to be rated for general use, which is for 9,000 pounds. And then the harnesses, we underestimated on the harnesses as well. And then the gear extractor for 5,000.
So all you have to do is take out the rescue jacks and you'd be all set. You already got the AED budgeted for one. The second one you're gonna buy with this year's money that's left over. You get your extractor. You're doing darn well.
The rescue jack was how much, 4,500?
Yeah.
What I would like
What
to
do you
leave
use-
in there,
What do you use
Is that to
now?
lift a vehicle?
yes. What I would like to leave in there, I don't wanna take out the whole $4,500. And if Cody's watching this, he's already crying. What I would like to leave in there is $600. And the reason I'm saying that is because, I've been doing some research on the value of, would these be nice to have? Yes, they would. Are they something that I think we truly need? I don't know that we do.
Are these the pillows?
No, we have those. So these are jacks that come up and they will actually support, to stabilize a vehicle. Or, the way these ones are designed, which were $4,500, they will actually lift a vehicle as well by cranking them up as you go, to actually take, so if a person got trapped underneath a vehicle, you could lift the vehicle with these.
But you have the pillows today.
But we
That's
have the
good.
pillows to date and if I could have everything in the world, I would like these.
All right,
But
so,
I'm trying to be realistic.
all
What
right,
I
so
would
what,
like
so
to
what are you
do-
gonna list the 600 as?
What I wanna look, the 600 is a little, it's almost like a, and I've gotta think, it's basically a stabilizer that is designed to fit with the, we have tools that will pry open a door, that will cut, Hamato tools.
Mm-hmm.
They're, you know.
Jaws of life.
Yeah, ours aren't jaws, but yes.
Yeah.
Jaws of life. This piece is designed to go either on the ground or in a vehicle or something, and it's designed so that those tools that will spread a door, you can turn them this way, and the bottom one will lock into this piece of metal, and then you can use these to lift.
Okay.
That's what the 600 will buy.
That's what the 600 will
It'll
buy.
buy you something that'll sit
And
on
I'm
the
looking
ground.
for one,
Yeah.
as opposed to the 4,500. And
Well, that's
yes,
something
So that brings us to 9436 in that line
I
item.
don't know, I gotta do the math. If we start at
Just
13,350.
don't trust them.
We started at 13.
I'm gonna start questioning after the last two numbers.
Well, I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, wait, maybe I should.
So 879 plus
I got the
762
bid on that already.
plus 600
Oh, installation.
plus 789 plus 1406 plus 5,000.
Minus 4,500.
9436 is what I have, right?
9436 is what I have as well.
Yeah.
So now I'm
No,
below
no,
last
no,
year's
no,
budget.
no. It's,
What do you mean? No.
cause you forgot to add the other $1,000 that we took out of the other line. item.
Right, I'm just
Well,
trying
well,
to,
don't forget the $1,000.
right, but we took it out of something else, so it doesn't, we're
So
we're
what are we
not
gonna
arguing
call
over
that
that.
$600
Lift assist.
lift assist? And this goes on that,
Goes on the tools that we already have.
Extrication equipment.
yeah, but I'm just curious on how this thing was working. But it keeps one jaw from moving and the second jaw,
Think of
Yes.
it as a
So it's
platform for the
locking-
jaws of life to
it's
sit
so
in
that-
and stabilize
Yeah.
it.
So that if you did that right now without this piece, that bottom one would slide as you started spreading, because both of those spreaders, so both spreaders work together. So if you did it right now and you just put it on the ground like this, it's going to start sliding. This piece keeps that stable so it doesn't slide and allows them just to take that pressure and do it this way. And I've been talking to, I talked to a dealer that's had them, and then Concord Fire Department is using them. They have one on each one of their.
but how high is the lid? I wouldn't think that those jaws open all that
It's only
much.
gonna go, as far as the jaws.
Yeah,
How big is your leg? If your leg's stuck under there,
stick the pillow under there.
Enough to,
but this-
enough to get
David,
a guy
David,
out
I'm
that's
telling you
getting
how high
underneath the
it is.
vehicle.
You can probably get about a spread about that big on the spreaders, but one other thing to factor in is as you lift, you go ahead and crib the vehicle, you reset, and then you can redo it with blocking and wood.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
there's
so that total line item with the 1,000 moved is 10,436, which brings our budget down an additional $3,900 and brings our budget to 121,036.
Now can I have my second AED back?
You're getting that this
You got
year.
this.
I don't
Two
know
of
if I am.
them.
You told me I had to buy communications equipment. All right, if I
and we're still waiting to hear back on
buy
the
communications
13.7.
equipment, then I can't afford the AED, then I'll come back and ask you
I
for the AED
think we're gonna need
back.
to see these revised numbers.
Or you
Right,
can,
right.
or you can just buy the second AED next year's budget,
But let's see what the revised numbers.
That's what I'm.
2021.
No, next year's 2020. So one, right, so, John, tell me, I don't remember. what
So-
line item we're working
so
on. Oh,
line- so-
So this line item gets reduced to what?
10,436.
And
Which-
that's with the other.
That's with the 600
The AED.
and two things
The
moved,
AED
yeah.
and the pressure washer.
Yeah.
Okay,
Which then brings your bottom line to, I mean, there'll be some, yeah, brings your bottom line to 121,036.
you gave away too much.
What, so can we move on? Are we done with the new fire
Uh,
equipment?
I just did have a question as far as the gear extractor for the chief. So did we factor in any sort of installation cost with that? Or is
I-
that just purely the equipment?
I did not, because I think most of the hookups are there already. because we've already got the plumbing run for that, and we've already got the electrical run for that.
Is there electrical? I don't know.
Because it came from the stove,
Okay.
so I think we're okay with installation.
What's fire prevention?
Fire prevention is what we do for the schools. So that money goes to handouts for the kids that we send home to coloring books and their parents and,
Just
you know,
curious, 'cause
informational things.
Mine shows $0 expended for
That's because it just got run and and it's,
486.
46.
I have $2.74 left in that
Just,
right now.
just was trying to, A, understand what it
Yep.
was, and B, why it was.
I think you have $14 left.
Oh, I have $13.71.
That down rounding again.
So I'm looking at state inspections, communications, and AED if I can get it, out of this year's budget.
Yep.
And then hopefully that, do you have a copy of that, at least that, where you made all those adjustments? You just did it by hand too, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. But like, which part are you looking at? Like on the general supply line?
No, I was just gonna take your numbers from this, the actual budget. That's all right, I'll get with you if I have a
Yeah,
question.
because I mean, I have it on, written on this. But it's kind of, I have it so I can understand it and explain it to Dave.
So what do
They
you
get
want,
the
Theo?
hole punch.
Map format?
Yeah.
I'll send it to you.
Because that way, because I go through,
Remind me.
I almost brought my computer tonight, but I knew I'd have too many
Is there
things
anything
to
you
shuffle
can do by
around.
yourself? I'm just curious.
Anything I can do? How do you think this is all happening?
Yeah, yeah, he does it all on there.
He does it by handwriting, I do it on here.
And then he goes, what was our notes on that again?
Yeah. So now I'm keeping my notes.
It's a system.
Are we all set?
And
So
then I go,
that-
I
It's
don't have
worked.
Are you done talking about my budget?
Yes,
now?
ma'am.
Yeah, we're
So
done.
when I leave, you're done talking?
Well, we
Yes.
we still might change it, that's.
That's what makes me
that's-
nervous. You did that last year.
And you
Yeah,
came
right.
back.
I
Yeah.
did.
No.
Much as I like you guys, I don't necessarily want to come back. Thank you.
Thank you, Meredith.
Thank you very much.
Well done, by the way.
Oh.
Don't forget, next year the backup
You got your
comes
phone.
with it.
Next year the backup comes with it. Well, I thought I had the backup, I just didn't have the money.
All the numbers, please.
Yes, sir.
Hey, guess what we get to do this year because Mark can't say anything?
Cut the dog.
Cut the Debbie deal. Made it to another year without one. Get rid of it.
What are we talking about?
Emergency management.
Deputy?
Yeah.
Oh,
We haven't
Well, I was wondering why
we haven't had one in X number of years, and in those X number of years that we did have one, the select board didn't even know who the person was. Never seen him.
why did we budget for money for last year if we didn't have one?
We didn't.
We did not.
We
Oh,
didn't.
Budget
okay.
committee.
Sorry, didn't mean to open up a can of worms. I pulled back my question.
Can
One
we
of
leave
the
a dollar in
members
there
of
just to
the
leave the
budget
line item
committee
open?
last year
What?
Leave a dollar in there
Was
for the
the
line item,
previous emergency management director as well.
just to make them
Yeah.
happy.
But
Strong
yeah.
arguments
Yeah.
for,
I see.
Yeah, it's strong arguments, but couldn't really tell us what the person ever did.
Mhm. Well, so who's here
Kinda like
today
the
to represent your
treasurer.
budget?
He resigned, so we'll.
So it's a select board. We recommend getting rid of the
salary
deputy
zero.
position.
I actually would like to ask a slightly different question. What
Mm-hmm.
is the role of the emergency management director?
Technically,
Yes.
by RSA, they are the person in charge in the case of an emergency in town.
What defines an emergency in town?
The ice storm.
The ice storm, the Mother's Day floods, anything
They're the
catastrophic.
they're the ones that are they're supposed to help coordinate. It's a mutual team between the fire chief, the police chief, and the emergency management director. But the emergency management director is the lead coordinator in that role.
Well, why aren't we more, are we required by RSA to have an EM director?
Yes.
Can we have a police chief or a fire chief who acts as both?
We could
I
if
would
they
not
would be,
recommend that.
if they would be willing to, but they're not.
And I would not recommend that.
So we believe as a town that an EM director is an important role, but we don't have one today.
We had one yesterday.
Scott just,
Literally behind yesterday.
Yes.
we've, that's been kind of a tough position for us to fill within the last 2 years. We had somebody, didn't work, next one came.
Does that job require certification, training? and
Yeah.
stuff?
Yep. Well, the last two have had that, which I wasn't aware that there was such a thing, but
Nobody had any communications, nobody could.
one of the gentlemen that came in had pages of certifications in those specific things. And the state puts on a lot of those programs, so.
Yeah, and FEMA does stuff. There's online trainings. There's all sorts of different stuff that you can do.
So my question is, we don't have one today, we don't have a.
Oh, we do have one, we do.
Oh.
There's
Yeah,
still,
I mean, he's working
he's
with
just
us.
letting us know.
I see,
That-
okay, but we'll need a new one.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And in the context of needing a new one, we'll have to find somebody who meets these certification requirements?
That would be good.
What if they don't have them, but they're a good candidate, and we wanna train them? Is it prudent to cut the 2,000, which we might wanna use for training?
No, because a lot of the training doesn't cost.
It's all free.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think ahead.
Yeah.
Don't wanna
Yeah.
suddenly find out we don't have the money to do something we need.
Yeah. Question, how did we burn through so much money in communication, telephone?
Because we pay the bill whether you use a phone or not.
Oh, all right.
If it sits there,
It just,
yeah. It's the phone's down in his office.
so
You
it's
pay
not
it no
like
matter
he
what.
The
was,
reason I ran this for
put a
the national
payphone in.
guard, brigade
Oh, so we got a
state
candidate.
level.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
I just heard that. Didn't you heard that, right? All the family.
But when you're in the military, you don't need the certification. Okay?
We'll get
I
you
wore a
trained.
uniform, so I didn't have to have the
No,
certification.
but you were gonna explain the value of it, so I'd like to hear that.
Right, so here's the problem, when you have the police chief, the fire chief, and whoever in town is also the EM director,
Yeah.
it sets up a fiefdom. And then that causes fights between, when you have your resources, you're trying to use them. You should have somebody that is not a department head, controlling the resources to do it fairly.
You don't think that the EM might be friends with the fire department or with the police department and still run into
You
that?
always run into that, but you have a department head as the director.
But I mean,
Okay.
it could be something as simple as, 18-wheelers coming in, and we had it happen. Somebody backed into the telephone pole in front of the mobile. Okay, and a large chunk of town loses power. In all reality, EM director gets into that to make sure, is there anyone in that area that's on a oxygen tank? Are they fine? Is there anyone that's, all those things, they should have that ability to, drive around, put out a beat, you get the,
To what degree are we prepared for something just like you described? Do we have a map of people who are on medical equipment, so we know if we
No.
cut power?
No.
We don't know, so.
no. So a lot of it comes down to their neighbors know things like that, but you'd be able to put out, hey, if you need something, they need to be able to set up, is there a spot that you could bring that person, whether it be here or a church or something, that we can get them their machine hooked back up and whatever but that person is there to coordinate that piece of it.
Okay.
And
like, say it's cold and we lose power.
Yeah, yeah.
People don't have heat, and we have to open up a school. Or
yeah,
something.
a warming station, cooling stations,
Yeah, stuff
anything.
like that. Okay.
Yeah.
The funny thing was, I didn't live in town. I was here during the ice storm. When the National Guard came in, I was in charge of that group that came in. And one of the things we did, and this is what we went around on snowmobiles and checked people's houses to make sure they had heat, they had water, they had all that,
Yep.
they had some sort of supplies.
Yeah.
Did you guys come out to West Benny Hill Road?
I tried not to. That's what I had other people for. Hey, go in the cold. I'm
No.
I'm the guy in charge. I ain't getting cold.
So how do we, is that not an elected position? I assume that's an appointed.
It's appointed.
But yeah, I'm, have no interest now, just so you know.
So,
We already got the application filled out with you on it. It's too late now.
Go see Tina Marie.
Would you know, no, that's a good question. Would you know somebody within your scope of people that would be qualified and would be interested? Since you've got experience in this space? No? No.
So what are we doing with this budget?
I'm guessing we're striking $2,000 for the deputy.
I'd leave $1 in there for just a
I was
line
gonna say, I
item,
was
holding
gonna
place.
put it in the bucket.
We're striking $1,999.
I'd like to propose a budget of $6,770.
What are you taking out?
I'll tell you where, start right up at the top. EM director at 5,000. Deputy at 0.
What are you gonna do?
Keeping the
Fund.
FICA, no, 0. Keeping the FICA and the Medicare 434,102. Training at 100, travel at 75. Computer equipment at $1. Communication at the 504. Dues and fees and subscriptions at $1. General supplies at 50. Trailer maintenance, I'd go to 250.
What is that? Do we have?
Actually, no, that 500.
Yeah.
500. There are
Do we have?
trailers. We have
Emergency
trailers.
trailer.
yeah, it
Emergency.
has some in it, things like that.
Yeah, some.
Well, one is communications, and then the other one is where they have like traffic signs, cots,
Yeah. some-
sandbag bags that you can fill. Those
Yeah,
types of
just
things.
sort of general emergency supplies.
None of the rest of us have that, computer line that you
Yeah.
said for $1.
That's
You
not
don't?
under general supplies? That's under trailer maintenance?
433.
We don't have it on our list.
Well,
Yeah, I don't have
I
433.
don't either.
Yeah, so.
you
I'll
guys
just
could
put
get
it-
updated.
Yeah, we'll just put it up at the top as another
How much
dollar.
was it?
I just put
Just
$1.
$1.
Okay.
Because we had it in
Last
18.
2018.
Yeah. Where did I?
Protective clothing?
After the trailer maintenance, postage, protective clothing, and planning, I just put $1 in each one.
Is that the, you sure we don't have to replace those suits?
What suits? They used to buy jackets that say Town of New Ipswich
That's it?
Emergency That's
Yeah,
it.
it's,
It's not the.
No,
Not a hazmat or anything?
No.
no, we don't deal in that. We pay a fee to,
So that was another $3 for it.
yeah, so it
Okay.
rounded it up to 6,770. You don't trust Excel?
no, the only place I disagree is I just leave $1 in the deputy, just as a holding pattern.
I'm with Bert.
All in favor?
I sense Dave wants to avoid a debate in the future, that's my guess, but I also agree, leave it
Didn't
down.
prevent it last time.
It's our job to decide what the budget would be in the future, and if we don't want one, we'll leave it at $1.
It's a,
Actually, we only can advise, it's their.
Yeah.
it's a
Well,
consideration for the future.
I didn't mean to usurp power, I simply meant to.
I think he was usurping power. I think it was a coup.
Oh, boy. Do I look that dumb?
67.
I mistook it for a democracy.
Yeah.
I just didn't add the other $1. I couldn't remember what I did.
This is a small town, there's no such thing as
67.70.
democracy.
Yeah. I
We
would go
have
with the
trailer
67,
maintenance back in
70, just to add
2018.
that. I mean, if we're not gonna delete those other ones.
It
that
just
we've got.
means that you couldn't hire somebody next year as
So
emergency.
the trailer might
as
not
a
have got
deputy
any back
consultant
in?
needs it.
Well, I just
Following
think it
year,
was
if you wanna budget one back
somewhere
in,
else.
you can always put it in.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure.
Do you have plans to hire somebody next year as an
No,
assistant?
I didn't wanna make that
Yeah,
up.
we have enough trouble
Exactly.
filling the
60.
first one.
67.70.
Yeah, what the hell? Not that we've ever had one.
6770?
Yep.
6.
2018, trailer maintenance was changed to, or we did it, actually it was last year, to, remember the, I don't remember his name. They wanted to buy off
Chairs and
shelving
stuff.
and chairs, and that, and trailer maintenance was scratched out. Where was trailer maintenance paid for last year?
It wasn't, they That was all,
18.
that's just penciled in.
Yeah,
That penciled in was done by that emergency management director. It was not done by us. So
okay.
so instead of using trailer maintenance, that's what he was gonna use it for, but there's no line item for that, so. So, it really stayed as trailer maintenance.
And I think we need to keep those trailers maintained because
And that was one of my discussions, that, we spent a lot of money getting it back together, and then if it's just gonna sit there and go to pot again, that would've been a waste.
Just provides a nice
What do we
place
do
for the
maintenance?
mice.
What does maintenance entail?
Making sure that they go in there. I mean, it's got things like rubber gloves, stuff like that. Well, those rubber gloves, if it's, unless it's environmentally maintained, they turn into gum, So it's that thing of going in, making sure that's done, that the rodents aren't going in there and chewing through stuff, that it's vacuumed,
you don't
just,
leave things in there that collect mold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but to me, there's a distinction between supplies, which is the gloves deteriorating over time.
that's all, if it's in the trailer, it's basically included
That's
as,
what you mean.
yeah.
Yeah. We had to hire a company to come in to clean it.
It was that bad.
Yeah.
Because what happened is they used it for the ice storm and then put it away.
They didn't clean it out, dry it out, or anything?
No, just throw it in there.
Just put it, and I think it wasn't even put inside. I think it was behind the fire department. Someone parked it, and then that's where it stayed.
Where does it stay now?
At the highway garage.
Yeah, in the big.
That's
In
not
one,
the, that's not the abandoned.
no, in one of the bays of the big garage. Yeah.
Well, isn't that what it is?
Yeah.
It's rented out.
It's rented out.
Yeah.
So we're done.
Unless you want to just keep going and making up numbers, we can keep doing it.
Oh, you can do everybody's.
Do we have any other departments that have resigned recently that won't be representing their budget?
Oh, I'm sure we'll have ones that don't show up to represent their budget, but none that resigned.
Okay.
Well, maybe.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay. Business.
Scott, thanks again for sending the report.
Do you have anything else?
Nope.
I don't.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.